Hello, everybody, and welcome in to the Penny Bloom podcast. Today is the most joyous of days. I'm more excited for this than I have been for most other things we've been doing on the podcast. It is our 2023 Penny Bloom Film Awards coming at you a week before the Oscars. We wanted to get it in under the wire. We wanted time to catch up on as many 2023 films as we could. And we're feeling pretty good. We still got a few blind spots, but feel pretty solid about our slate of nominations today. I am Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here, my friend.
Oh, and it is always a pleasure to have you. And today
Mhm.
we've got 10 categories lined up, and I'm so very excited. These categories include Best Score, Best Cinematography, Best Supporting Actress, Best Supporting Actor, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Original Screenplay, Best Actress, Best Actor, Best Director, and Best Picture.
Mhm.
They will be in that order
The big
as well.
ones. I feel
Yes.
like we hit all the
There's
very,
there's
very
some
crucial.
those are the ones that I feel like to the layman might be a little bit easier to pick out what was done well.
Mhm.
We're not experts. We don't claim to be experts, so we didn't decide that we would act like experts.
Mhm.
Um, we just decided to go with what was right to us. um, held little regard for what the academy said. Um, and we're going to do our thing the way that we want to do it.
Yeah.
So, to that end, we've also got 7 nominees per category, save for Best Picture, which will have 10. We wanted to expand it a little bit more, show a little love because that's kind of what we do here.
Yeah.
Um,
5 felt
but
too small. We felt too
It
restricted.
did, and
Uh,
like I said, we're not experts. I don't. If 7 felt right, 7 felt right. I can there's some I'm not gonna say goodbye to for over one or the other. It's just like, this felt right to
Mhm.
me. So we've got 7 nominees per category, and, I'm so very excited. We might end up rounding out this episode with the top 10 films of 2023 as well, so stick around for that. And, yeah, so if you are ready, I can take us on in here and
Yeah.
do our first category, which is Best Score. You
Oh
ready
man.
for that?
Let's do it. Let's jump in. All right.
All right. So our nominees for Best Score are as follows. We have Christopher Bear, composer of Past Lives; Daniel Pemberton, composer of Across the Spider-Verse; Jerskin Fendricks, composer of Poor Things; Joe Hisaishi, composer of The Boy and the Heron; Ludwig Göransson, composer of Oppenheimer; Michael Levy, composer of The Zone of Interest; and Robbie Robertson, composer of Killers of the Flower Moon.
Mhm. Oh.
This is a stacked category, and all of them, we are faced with a spoil of riches.
Mhm.
Just, I mean, I've got the past lives. The flipped camera always fucks me up. They're going which way?
Mhm.
Um, I got past lives on vinyl right here.
Wow.
A personal favorite of mine. I listen to that pretty consistently in my free time, when I write, when I do anything artsy. It's nice
Mhm.
and smooth, angelic, melodic, and it makes me feel deeply.
Yeah.
Um,
No,
so that was a good one for me.
I think this does make sense because even on a category like score, where I think it's maybe the most subjective, but also kind of the easiest to see, like where one like flew
Mm,
over another. I feel like,
right.
and so like, but there's also very vast differences within this category, and I think I realize like I talk a lot about the Academy and how like man maybe some of the decisions aren't the best, but um realizing that even in just the score, just music of a movie and how hard it is to even select a winner here,
Yeah.
how difficult it is for every other award. So doing this ourselves kind of opened my eyes to be like, you know what? Maybe there is a lot of factors going
Oh, and
into
there's a
into these
giant
decisions,
voting body
but
as well. Like, there are
hmm
hundreds of members of the Academy.
yeah,
Me and you had to agree on most
yeah.
stuff,
This is just
which
me and
was,
you, two
yeah,
people
it's just
agreeing on
us
things
deciding
instead of
stuff.
yeah,
Um,
thousands and thousands probably.
so it
So,
was difficult. It was difficult, and that's why we opened it up a little bit,
mhm.
But,
Nice.
I mean, Past Lives,
Mm.
while it might be, like, a personal favorite, there are so many like, all of these are fucking beautiful. I remember seeing The Boy and the Heron in theaters and kinda just being floored by not only the visuals, but the score. Like, it stuck out to me in a
Mhm.
way that I was floored by. It was an immediate favorite. Poor Things, the way the score evolves and refines itself. It starts with Bella Baxter being this baby-brained infant, and the score kind of reflects that.
Hmm.
It's really broken down, and by the end, it's complex and it's come together because she's forming thoughts and she's forming a personality, and
Damn.
it evolves over the course of the movie to be that good. So, um,
It's
there's some beautiful scores here. What were some ones that stuck out to you here?
I liked, obviously the Oppenheimer. If the only one out of this list right here, actually no, that is true or isn't true. Spider Verse would be the other one that I listened to outside. Well, I guess I listened to the soundtrack of Spider Verse outside
Mm.
of the movie, but score wise, it would be Oppenheimer that I listened to. I guess particularly one song, over and over again. I think that song kind of took over the world for a little bit. It was the only song I replayed for a good week straight after the movie came out, I'd
It is
say.
not about if you
Um,
can feel the it's not about if you
mhm.
can see it, it's about
Niels
if you
Bohr.
can feel it.
Yes, my favorite new minigame to play in a movie is what accent will he speak today?
Kenneth
What
Branagh, baby.
Branagh? Yes, what accent will he be given today? But as far as the score, I mean it's pretty tough to beat. But
When
Zone
that shit
of
kicks in,
mm,
ah, fucking Christ, man.
I feel
I
like
fucking
if
love that.
I don't know. I don't think I ever will, but like if I ever reach a moment in my life where I'm doing some sort of scientific research or something and like I don't know, this will have to be the song that like cuz
Mm,
imagine like some in the future, someone discovers the cure to cancer and they're playing like this song in the background. Can you imagine this like eureka moment that you'd have,
dude.
you'd be like I
Well,
don't know, but
I was actually listening to it earlier today,
mhm.
and I went from "Can You Hear the Music" to "Quantum Mechanics"
Mhm.
on the score. Quantum Mechanics is the song that plays throughout his teaching montage when he's like, "How can it be both?
Mhm.
It
It can't.
can't, but it is. It's
It's paradoxical,
paradoxical,
but it
but it
works.
works."
Oh,
Yeah, yes,
damn.
that whole thing.
Mhm.
It is the same melody as "Can You Hear the Music" slowed down,
Mm.
because he is imparting it onto other people. "Can You
Oh
Hear the Music"
my
is how it
god.
is in
How
his head,
he
the
gets it. Yes.
but it's broken down and slowed down and
Uh-huh.
stretched out for
Oh
quantum
my
mechanics,
god.
and I was like, "Oh, fuck me, man. That's fucking gold. That's so
Yeah.
good."
So, needless
So
to say, a very, very big front runner,
yeah.
is Ludwig Göransson for Oppenheimer. The one that surprised me the most, I think, was Zone of Interest, for
Mm,
me, and it was a crazy movie. I think the sound design is very, very important to this movie, so I think this is why the score sticks out a lot more as well. It's completely juxtaposed by a very beautiful and nice, sweet score at most points, but then you hear very, very brutal and things you do not
mm.
want to hear in the background. So I don't know if that's
There's
just the score doing it, sort
we
of thing.
it's part of it,
But
we
yeah.
talked about it, off mic where the zone of interest comes with a lot of existential dread.
Mhm.
And it's through a lot of the implicit, not the explicit. Like, it's not so much in the I on screen, you are looking at seemingly nice things, people
Mhm.
working in gardens and playing with children and having a good time, but it's that score and it's that sound design that lets you know, shit ain't right, shit ain't
Mm-mm.
good, and eventually you realize what some of that score and what some of that sound design is, and you start to go, "Oh my fucking god, this is the most
Yeah.
disturbing shit I've ever watched in my life." Um, and, the other ones that I mean, like, the only one we haven't talked about here, Killers of the Flower Moon. I'll never forget sitting in that theater, and you remember when the oil shoots out of the ground and they go into that slow
Hi-ya!
motion shot?
Oh.
But do and then it's got that, like, that 20s, like, rock fucking, like,
Oh. Okay.
That fuck I'm like,
Mhm.
I can't do any of these scores justice, a cappella, but
Mhm.
that, like, it goes into that, like, 20s montage of them in black and white and racing cars, and it's in, like, a square
Mhm.
aspect ratio, and the song like, that song just fucking rocks, dude, and Robbie Robertson, rest in peace to a real one of the greats. He actually was a
Mhm.
part of, like, Bob Dylan's band back when Bob Dylan was,
Hey.
rolling, and then he
Any
went on to
relation?
compose.
Um,
Uh, I wish,
you
I
never
hope,
know.
maybe,
You
I
never
don't know.
know. Maybe somewhere down the line there, maybe
I
could
would hope so,
yeah. But,
no, with that,
mhm.
shall we declare a winner?
I think we should. I guess this is the only one we were kind of going back and forth on even after the winners
Yeah,
were,
even we decided winners last night,
mhm.
but about an hour after we finished deciding winners, I text Joseph and I was like, "This is eating at me. I don't know if this should win." Um,
It's tough.
but Imma go with it. Imma stick with it. I think it's extremely important to the film. Our winner for the best score of 2023 is Michael Levy, the composer
Mhm.
of The Zone of Interest. A beautiful score, a harrowing score, and one that it made the movie. It set the tone more than anything.
Yeah.
Oppenheimer. I mean, it's an amazing achievement in terms of what a composer is capable of, and the evolution of Chris Nolan's filmmaking, and like from Hans Zimmer to Ludwig Göransson, and kind of
Mhm.
seeing where we're at now. But the stretches of silence in the zone of interest, accompanied by just horror
Mhm.
in terms of sound. The score does a lot of heavy lifting there. It's demented and
Oh, yeah.
it's beautiful.
Yeah, you take the score out of Oppenheimer, it does diminish the movie, but you have
Oh,
a whole lot more going for it that it'll probably still be just as great of a movie, but you take the score out of Zone of Interest and I think it loses a very, very big part of its identity. Like that's kind of what the movie's going for is the
yeah,
nice, easy, serene scenes that then abruptly get a little twist at the end that makes you go,
yeah.
"Oh, that's not how what I want to think
Nothing's
about."
good
But
here.
yeah,
Nothing's good here,
a
actually.
beautifully
Um,
horrible movie, if
it
that
is.
makes sense. Like,
It is,
it's
and this will not be its last nomination, and we will
mhm,
get into the next category, which is best cinematography. Uh,
mhm,
again, a spoil of riches. We
man,
are just an absolute absurd amount of wonderful looking films. So, our nominees are as follows:
mhm,
Eric Messerschmidt, The Killer; Hoyt van Hoytema, Oppenheimer; Lucas Zoll, The Zone of Interest; Matthew Libatique, Maestro; Robbie Ryan, Poor Things; Robert Yeoman, Asteroid City; and Rodrigo Prieto, Killers of the Flower Moon. Now, I mean, as far as like the most visually appealing movies of the year, we
mhm.
have these seven. It's hard to fucking top. Poor Things was astonishing to look at. I know this ended up being a blind spot for
I
you
know.
coming into this one.
Yeah, I guess
Um,
might as well say it is my biggest blind spot that I hate the most out of this show is not seeing Poor Things.
yeah,
So
it's my only blind spots ended up being like the Iron Claw and Perfect Days as far as like awards contenders.
mhm,
Um, yeah, I didn't see Wonka, I didn't see Aquaman 2, and so shit like that. But um, those kind of Perfect Days was more for release purposes. Like it just
mm,
never made its way out here. It didn't make it to digital. It just didn't show up in Kansas City, Missouri. So it
mhm,
is what it is. But the Iron Claw, I had every bit of an opportunity to watch. I just didn't feel like sobbing uncontrollably. I
mhm.
know the story. I know the true story it's based on, and
I see.
I
Didn't
have
wanna
to like
didn't wanna strap
overwhelmingly
in.
mentally prepare to
Mhm.
watch something like that.
Yeah. But we got some pretty movies this year,
Dude,
man. It was very very amazing to just kind of sit back. I had a crash course this last week of watching movies, specifically these last 2 days, and I've seen some very very just I was taken away. A lot of comic book movies we've been watching recently, and I don't hate them. We are doing a whole project over them for a reason. But
mhm.
there's something different where you know a
When you
movie
watch a
is
good
made
movie.
with it is
Yeah,
clear that, like, they care about where the
yeah.
camera is. It's clear that they are thinking about every single time they set up a camera, and man, yeah, some of these movies were amazing. Like, I'd say, like, some easy, or maybe not easy outs, but ones that weren't winners for me right away, but that I noticed were very, very good were, like, Maestro. It's kind of an Oscars bait sort of movie, and I do see that after watching it. But even though that's true, it's still
It's a gorgeous
it's
film, man.
so
It's
pretty to look at the whole
It's a
time.
beautiful
Like,
it's a beautiful
yeah.
movie to look at. I love the shots of them in, like, that field sitting back to
Oh,
back and, like,
dude, come on.
the stage work that they showcase and the
Mhm.
shadows. It's gorgeous, and the back and forth between black and white and color is a major theme in this category as we have Asteroid
Mm,
City, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer,
wow.
Maestro. Um,
I
a
didn't really
lot of
realize that. That's a common thread throughout this
Mhm,
year a little
mhm,
bit.
and Killers of the Flower
Um,
Moon obviously only does it for, like, 1 bit at the beginning of the movie, the black and white thing, but when it comes to Oppenheimer, Asteroid City, and Maestro, we're
oh, yeah.
back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and Poor Things. Poor Things also does that. Poor Things starts in black
Mm,
and white and evolves to being in color, so, like,
I guess
that's,
Ferrari. Yeah, no, it's not on this nomination list, but it does start in black and white
mhm,
technically and in color. Yeah, very I guess I didn't realize
common
that, but
theme this year,
yeah. Hmm.
but
But
dude, I remember when we did our director spotlight for David Fincher and we got to The Killer, I proclaimed that as, like, my favorite looking film of the year, and I still like, that's why it's in this category. Eric Messerschmidt, the work he did for the
mhm.
cinematography on The Killer was astonishing to look at. It was, when you break it down to the most, like, simple form of just shooting shit,
Mhm.
deceptively, like, there's a lot of VFX work in The Killer that flies under the radar. You don't even realize it's VFX work, and it fully is. But The Killer, I mean, the zone of interest, terms of just like the stillness
Mhm.
and the zone of interest. Like, there's only like two sequences that I recall where the camera. Sorry, Craig. Welcome back.
Mm.
Uh, where the camera moves, and it's when characters are walking, so they're still centered.
Oh,
But
wow.
every other time, the camera's just sat there.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
then a fascinating thing they also do with the zone of interest is that wherever the camera is in one shot, the next shot, and this isn't 100% of the time, but it's a lot of the time, the next shot shows where that camera was shooting from.
That's pretty cool to
And
kinda
so it just
mhm.
keeps rotating around the
Yeah.
characters and showing, like, everything that they're
Wow.
like, every side of them, and, like, it's
A very pretty movie.
yeah, if
It's
we
it's
had
very
an
yeah.
editing category, that would also be getting a nom there,
Mm.
but,
Yeah, yeah.
no, it's Zone of Interest is a visually I mean, Oppenheimer, it's fucking massive, it's fucking awesome, it's beautiful to look at, same with Killers of the Flower Moon, but when you break it down for me, Asteroid City, in terms of what is just purely aesthetically the most pleasing,
Oh my
I
god.
mean,
Oh my god,
god
man.
damn,
We just kind of have a master at the craft. We have Wes also helping there, blocking all these
of
people
course.
out, telling them where they need to go. I'm wondering, like, does that fall more on Wes or more on the cinematographer,
It's,
specifically saying where for people to go?
probably
Um,
West, that's a
okay,
director's job
so it's
mostly,
so it's kind
a
of a
cinematographer.
team,
Yes. Oh, absolutely,
an
it's just like
aspect here,
anything else,
but
like, when it comes to a best actor, they're being directed to like, "Hey, this is what you
mm-hmm,
need to do that for me,"
yeah,
and then the actor does it, and it's like, "Oh, wow, they were fantastic," and it's like, "Yes, they were," but they also needed the director
okay,
to help
yeah,
them kind of so,
because I mean, Asteroid
director has
City,
a vision,
come on,
cinematographer executes.
yeah, you
And
got.
Robert Yeoman, longtime collaborator of Wes Anderson, I think literally every single one of his films
Yeah,
except for the
yeah.
animation,
I think they
in
know what they're
Fantastic
doing by now. They've read each other very well. They know what each other wants. And this, I'd say, it's like if you make Zone of Interest colorful and look even more beautiful, like the vibrancy
Mhm.
of Wes's color palette and all of that. And yeah, this.
And generally more positive nature. Um,
Hmm. Yeah,
yeah, no,
this.
it's a beautiful film. So, with that, we will declare our winner for best cinematography of 2023, and it will go to Robert
Uh,
Yeoman for Asteroid City.
Yes.
Uh,
Not Wes
I will
Anderson technically, but at least Asteroid City is getting
Asteroid City
something,
getting a win.
you
Yeah.
know. Not even a nom at all at the Oscars, is that right? Or was it for just one?
Asteroid City didn't get anything.
Yeah, that's
Asteroid
just
City
really
didn't get a
sad.
single nom.
Um,
Not even production design, which is
that's blasphemy.
that's fucking
That's
insane.
like
That's
actually stupid.
absolutely nuts.
Mhm.
Doesn't make any fucking sense to me. But I will never forget sitting in that theater and watching Asteroid City for the first time. That introductory shot where we zoom in from the producer's booth
Mhm.
onto the stage with Bryan Cranston in black and white, and he's like, "Asteroid City isn't real. It does not exist." Like that whole thing,
Mhm.
and the evolution of the stage and what he shows there. But there's a shot that happens sometime in the first act where they like smash cut from the black and white uh back to Asteroid City, and they're under that polka dot awning,
It's over.
and everyone's just
Mhm.
I was like, I get chills
Mhm.
every time I watch that movie, and I've watched it like 8 fucking times, when
Yep.
that shot comes up, because it's just like, in terms of lighting and framing, and then the camera moves through every single character all the way through it, and, you get to Jeffrey Wright being like, "Nope, read the fine print. Every single one of these projects belongs to Uncle Sam," all that shit, like,
Oh,
it's
dude.
wonderful. I
It's
absolutely adore it. It's beautiful. I love it.
the camera is another character with Wes. It almost feels like he is like that's how he puts himself in the movie. Is that it's very clear that there is someone at the helm telling all these people where to go, what to do, how the camera's going to move. It is beautiful, and that team
Mm.
up between them two, I will watch forever until my life is over. That's for sure. This was the only movie out of all of these that I watched way more than any of the others. I'm pretty sure I've watched like every other movie once. I think this is the only one I've watched 7 times.
Yeah.
So yeah, this
I'm like, I watched Asteroid City, obviously, Past Lives, several times,
mhm.
Oppenheimer 3 times, Killers of the Flower Moon twice. I think that's it, though, and I know
Mhm.
that's a lot, but it's I think that's it as far as Barbie. I watched Barbie more than once. I watched Barbie, like, 4 times.
Ooh,
Um,
might have gotten another viewing in on Barbie. That could be
yeah,
true. So,
like,
but
I think
no,
that's
Robert Yeoman definitely a very deserving award here for Asteroid City.
shout out to Robert,
Mhm.
Bobby Yeoman,
Good old Bobby.
but, the Babby. But, that will bring us to our first acting category. We're going to start with Best Supporting Actress, then go to Best Supporting Actor.
Mhm.
So, in Best Supporting Actress, the nominees are as follows: Danielle Brooks in The Color Purple, Divine Joy Randolph in The Holdovers, Emily Blunt in Oppenheimer, Julianne Moore in May December, Penelope Cruz in Ferrari, Rachel McAdams in Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, and Viola Davis in Air. Now, in a stacked year of stacked categories,
Mhm.
this is perhaps the most stacked of them all. Just an
Mhm.
absurd range of performers here. I'll start with with one of your blind spots here, or maybe both your blind spots here. Uh, Danielle Brooks in The Color Purple.
Mhm.
This is one of my last 2023 viewings. One of the ones that got in under the wire, and I was super glad I did. Um, she is fucking outstanding in that musical. It's brilliant what she's able to do in that film, and that film benefits greatly from the actors within it.
Mhm.
Um, I think that without some of the performances, the movie's just not nearly as good. And Danielle Brooks is to thank for that. She anchors a cast that just astounds talent wise, and she rises above them all. So I love Danielle Brooks. And my other one was Rachel McAdams and Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret.
Mm.
Um, there have been very few depictions of like mothers that felt so effortlessly real and
Hmm.
meaningful, and I mean, like, she like, part of the reason I gave her this nod is because she reminded me a lot of, like, my mom when I was watching the movie, like, the air she would possess and kind of put on, like,
Mhm.
it is just so motherly that you forget she's Rachel McAdams, one of the most
Wow.
prolific actresses of her generation. I fucking love her. So, Rachel
Okay.
McAdams is fantastic, but mothers are no, we have no shortage of that in this category.
Mhm.
Viola Davis, Penelope Cruz, Julianne Moore, Divine Joy Randolph, Emily
Oh, yeah.
Blunt. Um,
I think this is for sure the category that the most debate was
yeah,
had for. I think, and we were going back and forth quite a lot here on who to pick, and man, it was tough. It was very stacked. Even with my blind spots, I'm like, yeah, it's still impossible to choose. And I had two less options to even go with. And I Ferrari, I guess I am wrong. I am realizing that I've rewatched a couple more movies than I thought. Ferrari is
ah,
definitely one that has stumbled back, and my family has been watching it a lot, so I've caught it just
mm,
downstairs every now and then. Not full rewatches every time, but I'll pop in and sit
you're
down for a
catching a
while.
little bit every
Uh
once in
huh.
a while.
And
Yeah.
man, that movie's gravitating. Like it is, it sucks me in every time. Like it was
Mm,
one that after we were done, we were like, yeah, kind of a one and done movie. I'm glad I saw it, but I don't really think I'll ever really need to see it again. And then it's on, and I'm
right.
like, I really want to see this
I'm gonna
again.
be seated. I'm gonna be seated. Yeah.
And Penelope Cruz, I think, is maybe not the main attractor for the movie, but every time she's on screen, it's just
Dude,
it's incredible.
she's fucking absurd.
And
But
the
probably one of the biggest snubs at the Academy Awards this year as far as
mhm
Penelope Cruz not getting a nom. I think that, what she manages to do across from Adam Driver and Ferrari is dominant, you know, like, I just
mhm
if you're listening back to our Ferrari episode, um, there's there's a heap of praise thrown at Adam Driver, and then every time we talked about it, we were like, "And Penelope Cruz did more than enough to
mhm
be right there alongside him
yeah
and the acting across from him and dominating scenes with him." Like,
mhm
she did insane in this movie. I mean, surprisingly enough, one of the noms this year that snuck in the Academy Awards that I agree with, obviously, it's here in our 7, um, but it's probably one of the easier out for me is Emily Blunt in Oppenheimer.
mhm.
I enjoy her a great deal in Oppenheimer, and she's got some fantastic moments in that movie, you know,
That's crazy
the
that this is kind of the bottom of the nominations. Is that
yeah,
like that's the kind of bar that's being set.
that's how
Um,
good this category
mhm,
is that the bottom of this category is Emily Blunt in Oppenheimer, because she's fucking brilliant in her
yeah,
whenever she goes and meets, Killian out in the woods after the death of, Jean Tatlock,
mhm,
and she's like, "You need to fucking get it together, okay? Because 'Cause I'm not playing." You know, like, it's like, "Oh, okay, fuck yeah." She's
yeah,
dope, man. Um,
mhm,
she played like, there's a moment that always sticks out to me when Robert shows back up to their house and the baby's just, like, crying in another room,
mm,
and Emily Blunt's just sitting there with a bottle of alcohol, and she's drinking, and, he comes in, and he's like, "Shouldn't you be with the baby?" And she's like, "Shouldn't you be with the baby?" Like, she's like, "Fuck this," you know, like,
mhm.
just the terrible, drained air she
Ooh,
possesses in that movie
mhm,
fucking rocks.
yeah. Yeah, that's not a fun job, even in Zone of Interest, Nazis even hate taking care of their babies eventually, you have that mom the mom that comes back and she's, just even the baby's like, fuck this," but then the actual concentration camp itself is what gets her to leave, but aside from this, completely, um, but no, that is crazy. That is the bottom kind of nomination there, and, even, like, it's crazy that not really in the conversation for the win, but you have like Julianne Moore and May December, who like, is I'd say Natalie Portman probably puts on a better performance in that movie, but Um,
The trinity of performances in
oh
May
my
December is
god,
absolutely
dude.
insane.
Holy shit. Yeah,
What
that's
Natalie Portman, Charles Melton, and Julianne Moore managed to do in that film is unbelievable.
mhm.
And I it's hilarious that the Academy refused to nominate any of them. Um,
Mhm.
because I don't know, like, you
A little
watched it
too
and
on
you're
the nose for them,
yeah,
I
I
think,
bet
you
they
know?
didn't love the way they
Hmm.
depicted actors.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
like, huh,
hmm,
very, very interesting, you know?
yeah, okay.
Academy
Um,
decides to ignore this one, for some reason, wonder why,
it
but,
got a writing nod, but that was it. They were like, "Well, it deserves something. Let's go ahead and throw it that, but we're not gonna give it
uh-huh,
any of the acting noms," but,
uh-huh,
just
yeah,
kind of, I think, kinda stupid. Julianne Moore, I it and it is true of those 3, probably is the weakest, but even so, that's just how fucking strong that movie is, you know, like,
mhm,
'cause she does an insane job there. She's scary in a way that, like, I don't like,
mhm,
man. I like there's just a disgusting part of her that is treated so casually
mm,
in that movie, and Julianne Moore presents it with such
yeah.
effortlessness, it
I've
feels
always
like,
been
and she's so
ignorant or something, and like I think that's better that way. You're just like, it's just some things it's like she doesn't think anything's wrong in the moment, and it's just like,
good.
oh
Mhm.
my lord, how is someone that in denial? Like, or is that
Delusional.
real? You know? Yeah, there's a better word, delusional. Yeah, but I guess the last one we haven't talked about. Well, there's two we haven't talked about, but we'll talk about the other one a lot more, I think. But
Mhm.
Viola Davis in Air. It was one that you sprung up on me at the end, and I was like, oh my god, yeah, this was on my movie list. I kind of forgot about it because it was so early in the year that I
Early
watched
2020.
it. But it actually it's not a movie that stands up to a lot of other ones in these nominations and stuff like that. But as far as
Yeah.
a mother um, playing Michael Jordan's mom, I would assume that Michael Jordan or the people Matt Damon or Ben Affleck would be like the characters that I would remember the most out of that. But honestly, like thinking back to that movie, she's the one that I remember the most being like, oh no, like my son, like that's not the deal he's getting. Like
No,
we're
yeah.
getting a
Well,
percentage of every shoe and
she is
like
so and
yeah.
Viola Davis,
True.
one of the fucking greatest of all time, dude.
Mhm.
Like, just consistently at the top of her fucking game, and what she managed to bring there, like, the idea to frame the movie like, one of my favorite things about Air is that, like, you never see Michael Jordan, he barely speaks, he's
Mhm.
just,
Yep,
but
nope.
by proxy, you are dealing with his mom and dad the whole time, and that gives you an opportunity to let Viola Davis fucking shine, and she does, dude. It's
Mhm.
brilliant. So I loved her in that, and the last one we haven't talked about is Divine Joy Randolph and The Holdovers. Absolutely fucking sweeping award seasons.
Come on.
Um,
Come on.
dude,
I mean, what
the
what can
beating
you
the
not
beating
say?
heart and soul, another trinity of performances in The
Mm.
Holdovers that is
Mhm.
just absolutely insane. They're
Yeah,
what they
this
managed to do there is it's beautiful, dude.
this
It's
movie was awesome.
heartrending and real and raw, and, she more than either of the other 2, there's a realness to her that is devastating, and, like, that's the thing, there's a realness to all of them that's devastating, and
Yes.
what they managed to do with it
But
is brilliant,
man,
so
did
I loved
she
her there.
feel more real though? Like I, it's not even like it was a movie at one point. Like I swear, like it's crazy that it was like I'm just here with them. Like it felt like I am being held over, with them, and I'm experiencing all these things with these people. These are not actors at this point; they're
They're
completely their
people, they're
characters,
humans, yeah.
and I mean, it was nuts just seeing like I don't know. The Holdovers I think was the movie that surprised me the most. I think I knew I was going to enjoy it and that it was going to be more lighthearted or I knew I was going to cry, but it was gonna be like a good cry, or anything. But then I was like, oh my god, like
It's
just
a fucking sad movie,
yeah,
dude.
yeah.
But
Uh,
it's that hope in the face of that sadness that is
oh,
fucking beautiful, like, the
come on,
choosing
man.
good and choosing right and, like, loving instead of hating, like, I love it. I fucking adore that movie, so,
And all
and
this
she is a huge reason why.
the subtle like facial acting she has to do as well. Like I forgot the rich kid that's there because the dad built the library or whatever. Like whenever she's like or he's like join us for lunch or whatever, and he gives like that's that initial kind of like really, and she just
Yeah,
sees that happen but doesn't say anything, and it's like oh no I'm okay. I'll have my meal in the kitchen. She has that little moment and just little things like that where it's nothing is outwardly said. It's all in her performance that you have to get that from, and it's astonishing. And yeah, this one
beautiful.
had so much debate. We were going back and forth on this one for
Yeah,
quite some
so,
time.
with that, we will declare our winner of Best Supporting Actress of 2023, and the winner is Penelope Cruz in Ferrari. And also Divine Joy Randolph in The Holdovers. This was one that
Yes.
me and Joe couldn't come to a consensus on. I was insistent that Divine Joy Randolph was the winner. Joe was insistent that Penelope Cruz was the winner. They were and their top two.
Hmm.
Penelope Cruz was my two. Divine was your
Yeah.
two, correct?
Yes. And if the academy is split, in which in our case this is a clean 50-50 split. Can't get any
Mhm.
more split than this. I don't think there's no other situation to me that makes sense than giving these two amazing women the award. I think this
So
it's
the co-best supporting actress here.
and I mean impact for the movie. I'd say you are probably more in the right here. But when I'm just looking at like just performance to performance, I don't know. I can't really put one over the other. I
Mhm.
think they both just did such a great job, and Penelope Cruz not even getting a nomination in the first place is kind of maybe why there was a spark under like that wanted me to push for
You
her
wanted it
so
bad.
much.
Yeah.
Fuck the
Well, we
Academy in
did
that
we did
sense,
more
that's
than
for
the
sure.
Academy here,
But
so for sure, but,
mhm,
this is the only category where we have a co-winner, by the way. This isn't
mhm,
gonna be a regular thing. It's the Best Supporting Actress. I felt strongly Divine Joy Randolph was the winner. Joe felt strongly
mhm.
Penelope Cruz was the winner. They both did excellent. They both did wonderful, so we decided, why not both, you know?
Yeah. Can be both, but it can't. It's
Mhm.
paradoxical, but it works. This one,
It
it
worked.
does work.
After all, it's
Completely.
only us 2 voting. We make the rules. We get to decide what happens, so
Mm-hmm.
sorry.
This is
Um,
true.
but yeah, so best supporting actresses of 2023, Penelope Cruz in Ferrari and Divine Joy Randolph in The Holdovers. On to the best supporting actor of 2023. And another embarrassment of riches
Whew.
here. Like, let's talk about it. The nominations are Charles Melton in May December, Dominic Sessa in The Holdovers, John Magaro in Past Lives, Mark Ruffalo in Poor Things, Robert De Niro in Killers of the Flower Moon, Robert Downey Jr. in Oppenheimer, and Sterling K. Brown in American Fiction. And I mean, the
Mm-hmm.
supporting, I'd argue the supporting categories for the actors are more stacked than the leading categories
Hmm.
for the
I
actors.
think you
This
might be
is,
right. Yeah, the leading ones, it's kind of more clear who the winners
mm,
are. It's maybe between a couple, but it's kind of all right. We know who the winners are here. This you could really debate for a couple. Like I mean, there's
yeah,
it really kind of depends. I mean, there's some strong ones. We have some pretty hard hitters, in
the
here,
Roberts.
but yeah, yeah, the Roberts. Yeah, they are hitting pretty hard in two of some pretty massive movies
Mhm.
as well. But I mean, everyone else it is crazy. Like I mean, talking about the holdovers a whole lot here. Probably the weakest of the trinity of the holdovers is Dominic Sessa, but it's not like he's doing a bad job. He has like is
Well,
incredible moments. Is the thing
and
like?
I don't know if you're familiar yet.
Hmm.
He'd never acted in anything.
That was his first. That was his debut.
He went to the school that they filmed at and auditioned for it on a whim and booked that role and is getting just an absurd amount of love for it. Like the dude's gonna have a nice long career as an actor. Um, and he was big in theater
Huh.
when he was in college and stuff. So
That's kinda
it's not like he's never
awesome, though.
acted,
Yeah, but
but he's never
that's kind
been
of even more
on screen.
perfect.
You go to IMDb, there's 2 boxes. It's known for the holdovers. He was in the holdovers,
That is
you go to
awesome.
Letterbox, there's
It's
1
like,
box, it's the holdovers.
it's like
Um,
if you made Dead Poets Society, but actually picked a student that was studying that at the time,
I
sort of
know
thing, but
I know that you could sit here and read your damn books all the time, but I'm losing my mind. Jesus! That whole line delivery, fucking
does he
incredible.
chuck a brownie? Isn't
Chuck
that
the
yeah, he
book.
just yeah, I'm
Yeah,
like, "Oh,
and
man." Yeah.
Mary's like, "Hey, watch your mouth." Like that like the dynamic they form over the course of that movie is brilliant. And
Uh,
like it's probably the movie that plays with the found family thing more than any of these
oh,
other movies,
dude.
and it's fucking beautiful.
I've never had
Um,
a family Christmas like this before. I mean, a
dude,
family dinner. I mean, and like
yeah,
we kept like trying not to make it seem like a family
bro.
thing, but
And with that
oh man.
70s backdrop,
Mm,
Dominic Sessa could not be more just, like, straight out of the '70s, like,
man,
the when you look at him.
maybe
Even now,
yeah.
when he's on these carpets and he's at these award shows, and he's got the sideburns and he's got the curly hair, and he looks like he would have been in a Robert Altman film back in the
Mm.
'70s and in the '80s, like, he's
Have you ever
fucking
seen the TV show The Middle by chance? It's just
yes.
does he Axel, the oldest brother, he looks like a younger version of Axel. For that's the only thing I could kind of think about,
That's funny. Yeah,
whenever I
yeah.
saw him.
I can
I
see it, I
actually
can see
thought
it.
it was him, and I'm like, "No way he's this young now. Like, how do they make him look this young?" And then, no, it was
No,
not
yeah,
him,
that's,
but no
Dominic Sessa, the absolute breakout performance of the year, I
mhm,
think, in terms of never having been in anything. Because
that's
the other
incredible.
career-making performance is Charles Melton,
Mm,
um,
mhm,
which you could argue is also a breakthrough performance of sorts, but he was on Riverdale for years,
okay.
so
Oh, okay, I've never really
yeah.
seen it, but I do recognize him from there. Okay,
Yes,
that
yes.
oh, wow.
That's where his acting background comes from, is that he was on
Mhm.
Riverdale for several seasons. So,
Wow. Yeah,
this
another
is certainly a step up in terms of quality. Um,
that's for sure. Yeah, this man, it's crazy that you're definitely right. This like the supporting actors are much more stacked than the regular ones it seems.
mhm.
Um but man, yeah, Charles Melton like just the way he could play a how old is he during this? Like
30,
30 something? Yeah, a 30 something year old
30,
acting like a
32.
15-year-old, Like
Dude,
it is
the
it's cr-
scene where they smoke on the roof, bro, fucking guts me. That is so fucking sad.
yeah, the kid becoming the father
Yeah.
basically. And yeah, it's that I mean, this guy's never got to experience anything in his life like ever,
Mm.
Like and his son is the one that's like, "Hey, you want to try weed for the first time, dad?" Like the kid cannot believe. He's like, "Yeah, I've never tried this before." And he's like, "What? You're
Yeah,
really? I'm the one who's introducing you to the thing
dude,
that the
it's
parents say,
devastating.
Yeah, like, oh
It's
man, but
devastating. I mean, all throughout, there's a line delivery by Natalie Portman at some point that I'm gonna give her credit for, but it's more Charles Melton's reaction to it that's just
mhm.
absolutely fucking this is just what grown-ups do.
Yeah. Oh man, that boy got played
Disgusting!
boy got played by
Disgusting!
yeah, like boy got played by two different women and like the other one was just so that she could act better, which is like that's insane. Hey, yep, got to give him props though. Natalie Portman, I mean like that's a win, Like hey, if that's what adults do and that's just I mean,
Not
you win.
adults,
Um
grown-ups.
oh,
The
okay.
specific verbiage is so belittling.
Wait, she says
She
grown-ups?
says grown-ups.
Oh, Yeah.
and
Wow.
it's just fucking devastating, dude. Like,
Wow.
what Charles Melton manages to do there, like, that ending whenever his children
Oh.
graduate and he just breaks, dude.
Oh.
I'm fucking sobbing. So, like, hats off to Charles Melton. It's insane you didn't get an Academy Award nomination. It's
Mhm.
absurd. I remember early on in the award season, he won the first couple, like the New York Film Critics Circle, and I think that's the one he
Hmm.
won. And he won one other, and it was like, oh, we thought it was going to be RDJ, we thought it was going to be De Niro, and all of a sudden, here's this kid, and then like
Mhm.
he went dry the rest of the award season, and it
Damn.
was like, fuck. Come on, man. Give my
Yeah.
man some love here. I love Charles Melton, but,
Very deserving. No,
yes,
and
yes.
man, even in past lives, is that Magaro, John Magaro, or Matt?
John Magaro,
Okay, yeah. I
yes.
mean that another one where a lot of I think his character comes through the performance. There's a lot that he says out loud that I think is kind of going against what he is like.
Feels.
Yes, and you can. I mean, like the tension that he just the fact that he's there in a lot of these situations is alone like kind of enough that he's just there and hearing the conversations that are happening. But I don't know. I think he did a phenomenal job. I think the weakest link in the movie, again, out of like this trinity. We have
Yeah.
a lot of acting trinities here.
Again,
But
past lives, probably my personal favorite
hmm
acting trinity here. It's just a I talked to you about this last night, just the subtlety that
hmm
the naturalistic realism of this modern romance where they all play it with such level heads and real feelings and real
hmm
emotions, and it all feels so natural that the way that John Magaro, whenever I've loved John Magaro since I watched The Many Saints of Newark, the
mm.
Sopranos prequel movie. He plays Silvio Dante. He plays young Silvio.
Wow.
Uh,
No.
yeah, yeah.
What? He's young? Wow. Okay. That's interesting. That is not who
He
I
does
thought
his
he'd
whole
be.
thing. Like the whole time. It's fucking great, and he nails it. He does
Ah,
a fantastic job.
okay.
He was, I'm pretty sure he was in The Big Short. He was
Hmm.
in a movie we discussed for the 52-year journey through film. I
Mhm.
think he's one of the young stockbrokers who's, like, trying to get in, you know?
Oh. Oh, given
They
that
get fucked
pitch.
over.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
pitch in the
yeah,
okay, okay. Wow, that
yeah. So, like,
yeah.
he's been
Okay.
around for a little bit,
Mhm.
but, this is far and away my favorite role of John Magaro's. I think that what he manages to do
Mm,
here, it's brilliant, he's not our winner by any stretch, and
mhm.
it sucks, but in such a stacked category, he might be the first out, which is, again, insane.
Yeah,
Um,
crazy.
but,
Ooh,
yeah, the other one, Sterling K. Brown in American Fiction, uh,
man. A side
he was
story, but
yeah,
still so like it
the
Mm, that movie was that was the last movie that I watched, was
mm,
American Fiction, so that's the one I am the most fresh off, and it wasn't the movie I thought it was gonna be at all. Like, I don't I kind of knew a sort of an outline, and I thought it was gonna go a way different direction than it
you
did.
got no fucking idea, man. You got no
Oh,
fucking
man,
idea.
what a movie that
Um,
was, and Sterling K. Brown's, like, storyline, like, was I a very nice addition, I think. Like, every character had a very impactful and very important, story, not just the main story that was going on. Like, I think, you're more focused on Jeffrey Wright and what he's doing, and that's who you're rooting for, and his mom is sick, and you're kind of dealing with that, but, having to deal with this you know, he's gay, but his mom does obviously is not okay with this, or I don't know if it's her her Alzheimer's kind of affecting. I'm not sure exactly. If that's like, because whenever she says like,
I knew
some,
you weren't a
yes,
queer.
I knew that you weren't like, is that her actual feelings? Do you think, or is that like because
Yeah.
she's sick and
No, I'm fairly certain it is. I think that um and the movie does plenty to illuminate it, I think,
mm-hmm. 'Cause at the
but
end, she's vibing with him. She is dancing with him at the wedding, she's
yes,
she's
yes.
bumping hips, she's
Yeah,
she's
she's
fully in.
vibing.
Um,
No, I think that there's a certain degree of, 'cause, 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 internalized inacceptance in Sterling K. Brown's character in that movie that he gets across,
Mhm.
like he knows who he is and he's happy with who he is, but he can't help but feel like nobody else is happy with who he is, you
Mm.
know? And um
Oh, when he
the
gets
way
that
that he
hug.
plays that is
When he
dude,
gets
yeah.
that hug and he just starts to break down. I
Yeah.
was like,
Oh,
"Oh my god." Like I was like, sometimes that's all that is all someone needs, you know? Like
yeah,
that's it.
dude.
Like, "Hey,
It's
we love
gutting.
you, man."
It
Yeah, like
is
you can't
gutting.
we're
Um,
family. You can't offend
I'm the
us
most
or oh.
impressed I'm the most impressed with the Academy for nominating Sterling K. Brown.
Hmm.
Um, that is the single most interesting and unique nomination, I think, in the Best Supporting Actor category for them. Um,
Hmm.
'Cause even when I watched the movie, I went into it knowing he got an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor. So I was like, "I'm gonna be looking for that." And he's fucking fantastic. He is such a small part of the movie.
Mhm.
He's not in it a lot, but when he's in it, it is some of the hardest hitting shit in the entire film. So,
Damn.
like,
And that kind of plays to his character even better. Is like that's
it
kind of
does.
his
It
whole
does.
thing is that he knows it's better if he's out or at least in his mind, it's better if he's away and just kind of
Mhm.
gone out of the picture, but oh man, yeah, that is crazy. I didn't know he actually got a nom.
Yes. Yeah, we
Wow.
actually I believe we have we nominated Sterling, Robert Downey, RDJ, and Mark Ruffalo, who were all nominated for Best Supporting Actor. The only one we did not include was Ryan Gosling, um, who
Mm.
did get an Academy Award nomination. So, yeah, we've got some heavy overlap with the Academy, but we've also since we have 7, we get to expand on
Mhm.
it and articulate our favorites specifically, and
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun. So, um,
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, with that, let's declare our Best Supporting Actor of 2023. It is Robert Downey Jr. in
Mhm.
Oppenheimer. I mean,
Yeah.
he's
I
just so fucking good, you know? The dude's so fucking cool. There's a choice he makes in one of the scenes where they're explaining, like, they're at that dinner table.
Mhm.
And it's like all the heaviest hitters in the movie. It's Louis Strauss, uh, it's Oppenheimer, it's Dane DeHaan's character, it's Matt Damon. All of them are at this
Mhm.
dinner table. It's one of the black and white sequences, and they're talking about how the Russians have tested the bomb. They're like,
Mhm.
clearly something's leaked. Clearly something's got out, and it's your fault. Like something you did caused this. And Robert Downey, Cillian Murphy says something like, there's no proof, there's no proof of that. And he's like, the proof is right here. And he shows him the piece of paper that says
Mm.
they tested it. And then he goes, he does like this disgusted
Huh.
smirk that like could not have been scripted, could not have been something Chris Nolan told him to do.
Mhm.
It's so RDJ and it's so perfect. And it's just this tiny little
Oh.
moment where I'm like, oh my fucking God, he's so good. And I love it,
I
man.
don't know how much of this for me because like his performance in the movie is enough to warrant him the award and that is why he is winning. But there's
Mm,
also this part of me that is like seeing how far he has come from Iron Man. You know, he's been my like that's who he is to me. He is Iron Man. It's who he kind of forever will be. But
mhm.
now like I really hope that this role lets Hollywood realize we have another very,
Oh,
very,
he's back.
very talented person that doesn't just need to be in superhero movies.
Oh, he's back, man. I
Yeah.
mean, he was locked down for 10 years, 11 years.
Mhm.
It was all he did.
Yeah, like and maybe this is the the break of that mold, you know, showing that like you can go back and like it doesn't matter if you're in superhero
Well, that's
movies,
what
like you can still act. You know, it's not going to
Oh, yeah.
change your talent.
No, for sure, and
But
that's what, like, he's been very vocal about it in his Oscar run that, like,
mm,
I was afraid that
yeah,
I would never work seriously again,
that's scary.
like, 'cause
That's
he
like
was in Doolittle, like, after Iron
yeah.
Man, which
Mhm.
is fun. It's a family movie. It's cute. But it's not the kind of shit RDJ really wants to be doing, like, it's fine. It'll get the job done, it'll pay the bills, it's
Yeah.
fun, like, it's pleasing to a lot of people, but,
Thank you to
this is
whoever
the one.
casted him, you know, whoever
Well,
made that decision, thank you.
Pretty
Um,
sure, like, he's talked about how Chris Nolan gave him the call, and he was, like, so incredibly thankful to Chris Nolan for kind of like he's like, "You've reinvigorated me in a way that I hadn't known I
dude,
still had it left in me."
if
Um,
Chris Nolan was on the phone and he started a question with, "Do you?" Yes. The answer is yes, no matter. I don't care what that man really tells me to do. I'm gonna be like, yeah, no. What do you need me to jump off a skyscraper for your movie? I've never done it before. I will.
I'll
I
try it.
don't
I'll give it a
care.
shot. I
But
trust you, man.
yeah, it's
N I mean, what they managed to do, RDJ, his presence in that film,
mm,
like, I know it's been memed into oblivion and, like, the shot of, Albert Einstein walking right past him kinda,
mhm,
like, looking back. That's one of the most in like, one of the best acted moments in that movie when he brushes past him and he kinda just and all of a
mhm.
sudden, all the wheels are turning in his head, and it's the catalyst for the entire fucking conflict of the movie. Uh,
Oh,
he never once said he was sorry for what happened. Like that whole. He's so fucking good, dude. So
mhm,
hats off to him, RDJ. Uh, that was the man. That was the man this year, and he won the Penny Bloom Film Award for
mhm,
Best Supporting Actor of 2023. We're going to take a break from the actors and head over to screenplays, and we'll return to the actors
mhm,
thereafter. Um, we're going to start with adapted screenplay and move to original screenplay. So, in the category for best adapted screenplay, we have American Fiction, written by Cord Jefferson. Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, written by Kelly Fremon Craig. The Killer, written by Andrew Kevin Walker. Killers of the Flower Moon, written by Martin Scorsese and Eric Roth. Oppenheimer, written by Christopher Nolan. Poor Things, written by Tony McNamara. And The Zone of Interest, written by Jonathan Glazer. Uh, an absolutely stacked category, one that kind of warranted us being able to throw a few just like, yeah, we liked that movie. We liked the way it was written.
mhm,
Like The Killer, not a winner. Not a winner in this
mhm.
category. However, it's that movie is shot so well and it's acted so well, mostly by Michael Fassbender,
Mhm.
to the point where if he's rocking with lesser writing, that movie could have been borderline unwatchable.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it is a they definitely made that movie it's creative. It's not it's unique. It's not like any
Mhm.
other normal kind of murder
Almost like
thriller,
army.
yeah, kind
Yeah.
of movie that you see. But no, all of these kind of what I had in my mind, like whenever I'm thinking of like which one beats out another, is like should this movie have been made in the first place? Like, should it
Right.
have been adapted from wherever it came from? And I think like um, movies like The Zone of Interest, which is like as far as movies go, whenever you're talking about a subject like that, I think they did it sort of perfectly. Like it
Mhm.
is showing you the deep, dark truths of what happened, but also in a way that isn't all bad. Like it's not showing you the gruesome and all the horrid just visuals, but you're getting all of everything you need to get from it. Do I think it's the best Nazi, kind of that
Holocaust
time
film.
movie ever made? I
Yeah.
don't know. I haven't seen many. It's one of the best I have ever seen.
Mhm.
But that was kind of my thinking whenever I was going through this and an honorable mention that didn't get up here. I did want to give a mention to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It is kind of crazy to bring in an Academy, an award show for like a best adapted screenplay, but man, was I like actually taken back by that. I was like, holy shit, was this like actually like very, very for the time it was perfect. What an adaptation of Ninja Turtles, which I've never really cared about in my life like ever before. But then I'm like
Mhm.
in love with this movie. Um,
Dude, I love Mutant
so
Mayhem. So,
but
yeah, it was definitely one of the first out here,
mhm.
adapted screenplay,
Yeah,
and,
obviously it
sadly,
doesn't
it's one
win
of the
against
first
any
out.
of these, which is like
Yeah.
all of these nominations. It does not beat any of them. But
Yeah, and I think that part of that is, these films benefit from being written by one person The only exception being Killers of the Flower Moon. Um,
Hmm.
uh, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutant Mayhem was written by like 5 different people. There's like a team
Ah.
of people working on that movie, which leads to incredible comedy. Comedy movies often are
Mm-hmm.
like a team project, basically, in the writing room.
Yeah.
Um,
But
but
as far as more serious stories getting adapted to film, like a very very strong one that I don't think is the winner, like is Oppenheimer. Like I think maybe a lot of people would think like Oppenheimer's just going to sweep everything, but when it comes to this category, I think this is probably the weakest area of Oppenheimer. Is that I think a better nuke Cold War movie could be made. Like I think, but what they decided to focus on, they hit out of the park. That's for sure. Um, but like as far as just adapting this sort of time period, um, I don't know. I don't think that it. This is where the movie excelled, which I would have thought that like the winner would have come from that or Killers of the Flower Moon, as
I'll tell
well.
you what,
And
though.
that's
I'll tell you what, though. The way Oppenheimer is adapted from the book American Prometheus, I actually managed to read 3 of the books
mm-hmm.
that
Mm,
we
mm-hmm.
have nominees on,
That's
and that
right.
those are Oppenheimer, American Prometheus, Killers of the Flower Moon by David Grann, and Erasure by Percival Everett, which was adapted into American fiction. Um, Oppenheimer is the most impressive in that it manages to take what was like almost 1,000-page book and adapt it coherently and compellingly and edit
Mm,
again, I would some of the stuff that benefits for this movie is the editing. Jennifer Lame, I will be astonished if she doesn't win the Oscar for best editing. Um, because the screenplay is good, but what elevates it is the way it's cut together and the way that it is
yeah.
ordered, the way things are like it is fucking
Hmm.
mind blowing how well it is edited. And I think that the screenplay benefits a lot from that. Obviously, I think there's a bit of an outline there. I have the screenplay book
Mhm.
right here, by the way.
1,000
But
pages, didn't know. Makes sense why it's a 3-hour long
Yeah, no, it's a
movie.
big one. It's an
Um,
epic, it's an epic story of the life
mhm,
of J. Robert Oppenheimer and what they managed to do, what they focused on. It's brilliant, and I think that Killers of the Flower Moon deserves a lot of credit for the same thing. They obviously don't play with, like, the jumping back and forth in time a whole lot and like,
mhm.
here's what's happening here, here's what's happening here, and let's all build this up to a point where it's just all culminates in the same fucking time, like, it's insane. Don't know how you manage that, but, Killers of the Flower Moon is one of my favorite written movies of the year. I think it was beautiful. I think that what they apparently the script went through like several rehauls. Like
Hmm,
they wrote it, they scrapped it, they wrote it again, they scrapped it, they wrote it again type shit.
made sure it was right before
Yes, they did.
before they
Apparently,
backed out.
Lily Gladstone's role initially was like microscopic, and by the end of the writing process, they were like, "No, she should probably be like our main character." Basically, that makes the most
Mhm.
sense. Um,
Glad it ended up being that way. Um,
yeah, I
but
agree.
let's see.
Um,
Which ones have we not talked about yet? Would be my only
Poor
blind
Things.
spots, it seems.
Yes, the
Um,
blind spots here. Poor Things is incredibly well written. Um, I think that and all these are. That's the reason they're nominated for us. The one that's I'm tossing a nomination because I just love the movie, and part of the reason I love it is just how cute and compelling of a story it is. That's Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. Like
mm,
it's incredibly good. It's the one that I would. It's the only one on this list that I'd be like, hey kids, check it out. You know, um,
hmm. Yeah, that's
it's because it's cute as hell, man, and it is very it's very compellingly written. It's got advanced themes that are not diluted, but palatable to
mm,
children. Like there's a lot of I mean, Are You There, God? There's a lot of themes of like religion and
yeah.
the main character doesn't know what she believes in. She hasn't been raised religiously, but she's curious about it and she doesn't know where she aligns with. So her de facto automatic is Christian, obviously. So she
Mhm.
begins praying with "Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret." That's sort of the vibe.
Huh. "Hey, dude, just
And
checking in, man, seeing if
yeah,
you're up there and all." Yeah, that's I don't know, that's it seems like a
but no,
pretty,
I mean, like, the
good
main
movie.
conflict of the movie is that, Rachel McAdams, the mother, she was raised Christian, and the father, played by Ben Safdie, who is also in Oppenheimer. He's Edward Teller. No, until they build a bigger bomb.
Mm.
That guy.
Okay,
He
okay.
plays the dad
H-bomb
in
boy. Okay.
yes, yes. He plays the dad in Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. He's Jewish. He's a Jewish man.
Oh,
And
okay.
Rachel McAdams' parents did not support her marrying someone who wasn't Christian.
Ah, okay.
So
Mhm.
the daughter doesn't know her grandparents. They've cut them out of their
Mm.
life completely because of their lack of support. And she's curious about them. She wants to meet them. She wants to know them, and she has to like. It's that scene that gave Rachel McAdams her nom for me, is having to explain why she doesn't know her grandparents. Um,
Damn.
and
Dang.
so like it's heavy subject matter for children,
Mhm.
and they just knock it out of the park, man. Like it's very, very cute. So I loved Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. It's not the winner in this category by any means, but I was glad that there were a few categories where you were generous enough to let me be like, I'm gonna slide this in here if you don't
Yeah.
mind.
No, it's
Um,
from what I've heard about it, it sounds very good. The only thing that's kind of funny to me is, like, if it does get a nomination or a win at the Academy, it's like just reading off the names is funny to me.
yes,
Like one
Are You
word
There, God? It's Me,
titles, yeah,
Margaret.
like
It's so long.
Oppenheimer, just I guess Killers of the Flower Moon's a little long, but like it's just I think it's hilarious just like
This
saying
is
that
two
back to back.
sentences.
Yeah. Um,
The title is
but
two separate sentences. It's a long fucking title.
yeah.
Yeah, like that's no fucking joke. But yeah, but Poor Things, also the other one that was just,
Mhm.
I mean, eh, if there was anything that Poor Things was good at, it was getting a nomination for it. Like it's just that level of good. It's just that good of a movie. So, as soon as you possibly can,
I
in a
know.
high quality, you gotta
Arr.
watch it.
Oh, I was
But
so pissed, so pissed. But
with that, we will declare our winner for best adapted screenplay of 2023. It is American Fiction by
mm,
Cord Jefferson. Um,
god
kind of a movie
damn.
made for this category.
Right here,
Uh,
right now, right like this movie in 20 years will not really be the movie that it is right now. I don't think. I don't know. I think this is like it is so perfect for right now that it
quintessentially modern.
encapsulates how kind of everything is. And um it's so meta or so like it's so clearly trying to just say this is what's happening in not just the book industry really but kind of
Entertainment.
just kind of everywhere
Yeah.
in general. And
Yeah,
I think it
it's this fascinating intersection of, like, reality as it is, reality as we wish it to be, and
Mhm.
reality as, like, as we can't really comprehend. It's a
Yeah.
fascinating, like, it's just fascinating, and it's a beautiful adaptation. Uh, like, I read Erasure, the book it's based on. I like
Mhm.
the movie more. Erasure was, like, all the things. Like, there will be conservatives who will never watch this movie because it's too on the nose. It's too this. The book is, like, infinitely more on the nose.
Mm.
Like, it is to the most extreme. Like, in the book, which there's just a lot of stuff that when you are adapting something into a movie,
Mhm.
you change the medium a little bit. It would have been a little overstuffed with stuff if they did some of the stuff. Like, I remember when I went in that movie, I was like, "Man, why am I not hearing more about, Tracy Ellis Ross in the supporting actress category? What she is fucking beautiful within the first 10 minutes of this movie. Wow, she's so damn good."
Mm.
And she dies.
Boom. Yeah, that was
Spoiler
a
alert for American Fiction.
whoa.
Um,
That was out of nowhere. God damn
yeah.
it. Yeah.
So, and it's devastating, and I wanna clear this is spoilers for American Fiction. So, in the book, she doesn't die of a heart attack. just sitting there with she works at an abortion clinic, at a woman's clinic, and it is shot up and she is killed. It's shot up by a white Christian conservative who thinks that they're killing people, thinks that they're killing babies. So like that's the kind of thing that like if you think this is on the nose, the book is like even further into that camp,
Eesh.
you know.
Eesh. Yeah, after watching, I knew like the gripes that I would hear from it.
Mhm.
Like if there
Well,
was a
that's the
white
thing.
person
They
in the
won't even they
movie,
won't even fucking watch
that's
this,
true. I
you
guess
know?
they're not gonna
And
watch
that's
it,
what's
but like,
beautiful. That's what's beautiful. It's like this is all our own, you know? Like,
mm,
we don't gotta worry about
it's
that.
like,
Um,
and I think it captured like whenever there were two business, I don't know, they were trying to buy the book and buy the rights, everything. They were like, yeah,
well,
we're trying to get it out right before Juneteenth, and for obviously for Black people feeling wanting to go out and buy, and then obviously the white people maybe feeling a little self conscious and wanting to buy a book
guilty.
and guilty. Yeah, and it's like it's like things that you don't want to say out loud, but that we all know are true,
Oh,
sort of
yeah.
thing. And it has a bunch of those.
Well, and there's something so incredibly hilarious about talking about this movie as white people too,
It's kinda, I mean,
because
come on. It's
they make fun of everything you can possibly say about this movie,
Mhm.
you know? Like, it's so real, it's so raw, it's so like, there's something so authentic about it, you know? Like, that sort of
Yes,
thing,
and
it's
it's
so
sort of
funny.
like I don't know, an analogy maybe that sort of makes sense is like plot armor in a sense of like if like that there what was the first book called? Like we lives in the ghetto or something like
Yeah,
that. Is that
Weeze
what it is?
lives in the
Weeze
ghetto,
lives in
yeah.
the ghetto. Like it's so
My
kind of
pathology.
we know that it's like not good quality or that it's kind of bad whatever, but it's written by a Black author, so you don't want to say that it's bad, so you say it's raw, it's awesome,
Yeah.
it's all of this, so you're it's not.
But they convinced them well, and that's the thing too, is that another thing that the movie does that the book doesn't do is qualify that. Is Issa Rae's character kind of being like, "I I interviewed people and I got real accountings of real
Mm,
stories, and I told those stories," you know, and Jeffrey Wright kinda having
mm,
to cope with the fact that he still doesn't like the movie, but there's a certain, uh the way he copes with stereotype versus self-hatred and
mm,
how much of himself he can accept and how much of himself he is actually giving into that, and, like, it's fascinating, like, it's hilarious to say that the character from this year that I think I relate to the most is probably Thelonious Ellison, and that doesn't make any fucking sense as a white guy, you know, but, like,
wow.
it's less to do with the obvious, race.
Yes, and it does sound sort of bad to say, and it's sort of their argument that they have that does split their relationship up, he's like, "Oh, and
Mm,
apparently you people like this garbage as well," sort
mm,
of thing, and it's bad to kind of put yourself on a pedestal and be like, "Oh, obviously I'm just above this. I don't get it," whatever, um but he does have a point in saying, like it's kind of like it's crazy that everyone is like this is what everything is right now. And I
mhm.
love the analogy of like the blue, black, and red sort of whiskey or whatever that was made, and it's like it's made
Yeah,
by the same
yeah.
company, but they all make different versions and whatever.
I wanna
Every
call the book "Fuck."
yeah.
Uh, I haven't laughed harder in a movie theater in some time than when he delivered that
Fuck.
line, dude.
I want to call the
"Fuck."
book Fuck. Yeah, like oh man, he
And they're
was
like, "Will you hold, please?" You know, and then they talk, and then, like, they come out, "We love it. We're gonna call it 'Fuck.' It's bold, it's
brave.
brave."
So
Yeah.
brave, man. Oh no,
Yeah,
yeah, this it's a perfect movie for the time. I think when I asked that question, should this movie have been made 100%, and you
1000.
saying that the movie even does better than kind of the book did. Um
Well, and like I said, it's for the medium, you know?
uh
Like, the book
mhm.
shouldn't have been adapted perfectly into a movie, and if this movie was the book, it wouldn't have been as good a book.
So
You know
there
what
you
I'm
go.
saying? Like it's kind of the
Yeah.
best of both worlds. And I read another Percival Everett book prior to reading it because I was like, oh, that guy wrote American fiction. I'm curious, like what else this dude's rocking with. So
Mhm.
got a new one of my new favorite novelists. I've read a couple of his books now, and I'm
Okay.
like, okay, yeah. Trees was the other. It's like a murder mystery
Mm.
thing that he's got going on, but it's got a certain flair that's incredible. So like, there's a little bit of
Alright.
a I want to see that adapted into a movie. It's a little bit of a paranormal murder mystery too. There's
Mm.
something. Uh, there's white men who are being beaten to death, and their balls get cut off. And every time there's a man who's dead,
Uh-huh.
there's a black body next to him holding the balls in his hand. And they took them to the morgue, and then another person was murdered, and it's the same body laying next to that white guy, laying next to a new white guy. Um, and the body keeps going missing, and it keeps popping up, and the body keeps going missing, and it keeps popping up, and it's like, whoa, what the fuck's going on? So like that's kind of the premise. It's weird, it's bold, it's bizarre. I love it.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, now you've gotten me in. I wanna see this into a movie. That just sounds hilarious.
I
But
mean, it would be.
also
I mean, it'd be fucked up.
yeah.
That would be R rated to the fucking max if they do it.
Huh. What are they going for there? Cutting off is it a message that they're sending, like here's the white man's fertility in the hands of a I'm
There's a
ki like,
little bit
yeah.
of a, there's a little bit more there. I think it's more about ancestry and descendants,
Ah,
and
the
you
world.
won't be able to pass this on type
You're
shit,
ooh,
because
okay. We're
it
controlling
takes
it.
place
I
in the
like that.
racist South.
Yeah.
Uh,
I was gonna say, or of like, we built your world, I'm literally holding your whole world in your
mhm,
hands, sort of
yeah.
thing as well. Okay, interesting.
No, yeah, like,
Um,
there's a certain twist to it that if anybody's interested in reading the book, I'm not gonna spoil because it's like, "Oh,
hmm.
okay." You know, like, so, like, I think
Dude's
it is
cooking
more
with some
based on,
creative
like,
ideas, though. Wow, he's
yeah, no, Percival Everett's got a and the Erasure book, it's fascinating. There's, like, 10 straight chapters that are just my pathology. They're just that book. It's just that
oh,
book
it's literally oh,
for
that's
10 chapters in the middle of the book.
that's awesome.
He tells that
That's
story.
that'd be a
Uh,
really cool book, actually, to
oh,
kinda go
it's
through.
very cool.
Yeah,
It's a
that
great
would be
book.
awesome. But
So that's why I'm like, it's fascinating to see the way that they balance, like, the level the book goes into
mhm.
the book of My Pathology is, like, infinitely more than what they do in American fiction. Like, that one scene where Keith David is acting as the dad, and he's like,
Yeah.
he's sitting in his study, and he's like, "No, that ain't right. Like,
Yeah, what do I say?
don't hit me with that.
Yeah, what should I
Try
say?
it again."
Yeah.
Like, it's so well written, it's so clever, it's
Hmm.
so concise, it's so tightly written, and the open ending kind of leaves you so it leaves you a little like, ah, man, tell me what. But like that's the point is that like you're supposed to be like they're delaying that gratification, and I think
Mm.
that's it's bold, it's brave. I love it.
It's raw.
I love it. It's
It is
raw. It's
raw.
real.
No, yeah.
Uh,
But
but yeah, American Fiction took the cake for our best adapted screenplay nom here. But we'll move on to best original screenplay now,
mhm.
and this is
Yeah.
probably, yeah, like, this is a category here, man. We've got Anatomy of a Fall, written by Justin Triet and Arthur Harari. We've got Asteroid City, written by Wes Anderson and Roman Coppola. We've got The Boy and the Heron, written by Hayao Miyazaki. The Holdovers, written by David Hemmingson. Maestro, written by Bradley Cooper and Josh Singer. May December by Sammy Birch, and Past Lives by Celine Song.
Mm.
This is
Whew.
might
Yeah.
be might be my personal favorite category aside from Best Picture, of course.
Kinda
Uh,
just every kind of movie that was I don't know, there's such a broad, uh, scope of just covering kind of every kind of movie there is.
mm,
Um, a lot of these are very different, and yeah, very I guess that is kind of the category. It should be a movie that was very unique, and that was like, "Oh, whoa, that's unlike really anything I've ever seen before." And what a way to a perfect for the medium, perfect
Mm.
for movies. And yeah, all of these, like after I finished, um, I was putting the awards in after I finished each movie, and the ones that I finished right away, and I'm like, oh wow, that's just unique. It has to deserve this nom. Like the holdovers was up there. I'm like, wow, that was just I wish I watched it at Christmas time. Like I feel like that would have been the only
Yeah.
thing that could have made it even better. That
Mhm.
one, May December as well. I thought was just so creative and like honestly like a story that I thought is honestly pretty risky to even go with in the first place to like
Right.
make a whole movie about. Um, and so yeah, those were like the two that I watched, and Anatomy of a Fall as well. Were the three I guess I watched very recently, within the last couple days. So maybe that is why. But it was really cool to see just very unique movies that aren't really like anything else. Because
Mm.
I don't know of a like the holdovers. I guess it has some like dead poets, and
Rushmore
yeah,
and
yeah. But there's no real one movie you can really point to that's like this is the
no, no, no.
holdovers, and I think that goes for every movie kind of in this category here. Um,
Yeah,
but
the only one that, I think kind of falls into that is Maestro a bit, the biopic syndrome a little bit. It's just,
yeah, it was.
you can only do so much with a biopic,
Hmm.
especially if you're telling one that's so spanning as,
Yeah,
as this one. They didn't try to rein it in, you know?
it's the whole life, like.
"I'm reining it in!" Uh,
Oh man, yeah, what a weird, yeah, just unlike, just I don't know, just a random like,
Weird one,
oh,
a weird
okay,
one.
okay,
Uh
there we are.
Did you know I slept with both your parents? Like, that whole thing, it's a fu like, that's the thing is that
Mm,
Maestro's caught a lot of shit, and I
it
understand
has,
why.
yeah,
Um, but frankly, I came away from it, I was moved,
mhm,
I laughed, there was one take about it that was spoken as a criticism of the movie,
hmm,
which is and I think it was said by one of the children of Leonard Bernstein. And maybe it wasn't meant as a criticism, but it was just kind of like a fact of the movie.
mhm,
I didn't learn a lot about my dad, but I learned a lot about Bradley Cooper.
mm,
And I don't think like and obviously you're going into a movie called Maestro about Leonard Bernstein. You want like I don't think it's a bad thing that so much of Bradley Cooper is emanating from that movie. I don't think
mhm,
that that's a Um, and I think that I think it plays well. Like
mm.
I watched the movie once. I'll be surprised if it's the last time I watch that movie,
Yeah, no,
you
I
know?
think
I
I
think
think
that
I'll go back to it eventually.
mhm.
And
In the
I
in the build up to this, because I watched that towards the end. I mean, shit, I think that was November when it came out, maybe December.
mm, mhm,
But I watched it then, and in the last few days leading up to this episode, it was one of the main ones where I was like, maybe I revisit it, maybe I watch
mm,
it again, maybe I give
mhm,
it another shake. Um, it when we come to our like top, we're gonna do a top 23. We're gonna run through 23 through 11, but then we're gonna spend time on top 10. And that might end up being a separate episode. We're already running a little long here, but
mhm,
regardless, it's not in my top 23. It won't find itself in that. But it's 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 a confounding film, and I think it is well written. So I
mm,
think it earned the best original screenplay nom.
yeah,
But you're right about the holdovers, May December, and Anatomy of a Fall. Just I mean, the legal thriller in Anatomy of a Fall is one of the most intense thrillers I've
dude,
watched in some time. Uh,
it was kinda nuts where I'm like every legal kind of thing, I kind of get bored through a lot of those
mhm.
movies. Like sometimes, I don't know, where it's just in a courtroom for a long time. We were sitting in that courtroom for I don't know how long, and then we left for a little bit. And I'm like, no, get back to the court, get
Yeah,
back to that
get back
courtroom.
in there.
Like I need to know. Like I am. I am trying to figure this out. I feel like I became like an investigator in this case,
You're
like during
on
the
the
movie.
jury.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my god, like it's crazy how you're going
That's
back and forth the whole time. It's so ambiguous that you don't even know at the end of the movie. Really, I still don't know what I think. Even to this moment, which I think that's why it is so unique. It is so deserving of this nom is that it's great. Like just the moral dilemma talk you get into that you don't even talk about the movie for a little bit when you're debating some things. Like we got into philosophical or moral debates after that movie was over, which is
right.
crazy. Um, and yeah, just a very very like I feel like a perfect philosophy or ethics movie. Like if you're in a philosophy or ethics class, this would be like a perfect. Hey, go watch this, and then we'll fucking
Yeah.
I don't know do something over it. But um, was very very well done as well. Just a good movie
Yeah.
as well the whole time. So
No, absolutely. And
it's
we've got a few here that deal boldly with like grief and loss. The holdovers kind of falls into that as well, but the main ones I was talking about are Asteroid City and The Boy and the Heron.
mm,
Um,
mm-hmm,
the way Asteroid City is written is so snippy and clever that it was, when it came to creating this category and us talking, like creating our separate lists and then figuring out where we overlapped and combining them. This was an easy first one we both agreed on. We were like, Asteroid City is getting a nom for Best Original Screenplay. Um,
mm-hmm,
there you are. You're the wife who played my actress. Like that's
mm-hmm.
one of my favorite lines of dialogue all year, and it's partially because of Jason Schwartzman's delivery, but the written word here, when he's giving his little audition for Ed Norton,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, your mother would have talked to him, the alien, I mean, and he does that whole thing. He walks up to the front and he goes, sometimes I sometimes still think I still hear her here.
Mm.
And he says sometimes twice, he says still twice, he says here twice, and the way it's written and the way he
Oh,
delivers it, and just like it's one of my favorite lines of dialogue that I know one day when I lose someone important to me is going to just fucking destroy
damn.
me. When sometimes I sometimes still think I still hear her here. Um,
Oh, what?
I'm like, fuck me, dude. Like that is
Mm-mm.
and it's delivered in that audition capacity, so it's not a heavy hitting moment, but on it's one of those movies where you
Mm.
rewatch it and everything's more and more and more and more because that first that first audition pairs so well with the final heavy hitting scene with Margot Robbie.
Mm.
Like if you watch back to back, they're basically mirrors of each other. They're discussing the audition scene he's doing for Ed Norton
Ah.
is in reference to the
Uh-huh.
scene he would have had with Margot Robbie, like, your mother, she would have talked to him, the alien, I mean, you're shy, you'll grow out of that. And she says, like at the end of the movie, she's like, and I say, he's shy. He'll grow out of that. So it's
Oh,
fascinating.
man.
It's
What
just
a movie.
so
Yeah.
fucking good,
It's
dude.
kind of like
I
in Oppenheimer in the editing sense where
Mhm.
it's coming like kinda going back and forth in time and
Constantly.
culminating at one point.
Mm.
And yeah, like I remember at first coming out of the theater, um like I got a lot of the bigger themes in the movie and everything like that, but I was still kind of figuring it out, like even right after the first watch, and I'm like, man,
Can't
I
wake
don't.
up if you don't fall asleep.
Yes, and I'm like, I don't think I fully get it. I'm like, there's still something more to the movie that it hasn't fully clicked yet. And then I go home, I watch however many times I do. I watch this, I don't know, whenever it came out on demand, it was like just raps. Like from then, it was like I have to.
That boy right here
Mm-hmm.
is a beaut.
Yeah, and it being our first Wes Anderson movie in theaters that we were seeing with our
Mhm.
own eyes on the big screen, I think did a lot for that as well. But man, it was an awesome moment. That's for sure. I loved seeing Asteroid City and
Oh,
but crazy that it is not the winner here. I would have thought early on that like no way something else is coming in and taking this
if
movie off of its throne,
if
but
it wasn't for our winner, it would have won. For me, it would have. But we will declare our winner for best original screenplay of 2023 with Past Lives by
Yeah.
Celine Song.
Yeah, yeah, when it comes to a romance movie, I haven't seen many romance movies in my life, just in general, and I don't know if
Mm.
yeah, this is a romance movie.
Yes,
It's not
yes.
a in the typical sense
It's
where,
not a typical
like a
romance
Fault in
movie.
Our Stars, or, like, you're thinking of kind of
Yeah,
those where I'd
Notebook
say, like,
or shit like that, like,
exactly.
it
Um,
definitely breaks the mold a little bit. It's a
oh,
right person,
completely.
wrong time movie, you know?
Mhm.
Uh,
Oh,
and a right person, right time, and it's just, like, the way that it amalgamates so many different tropes of the romance genre and bends them to a point where it is now entirely its own thing. I think that it's one of the
mm,
best written movies of the year, and for me, the best written movie of the year.
yeah,
I think that again, just a few lines of dialogue that gut me. You dream in a language I can't understand is one of the most devastating moments and lines of that entire movie. One of the other ones that's just it's not as, like, cleverly written, it's not I sometimes still think I still hear her here, or you dream in a language I don't understand. It's not that, but, like, when he says it, when TOU, as, Sung says, "I didn't think it would hurt this much to like your husband."
yeah, mhm. Like,
Dude.
I mean, it's crazy how, like, I feel like I'm the 4th wheel of their
Mm,
relationship now, like, during watching this movie, I'm so invested in everything that is going on, and another crazy thing is that, like, the ending, like, I'm texting you after the end, and, like, I kind of had a very different take on the ending, and I think I was describing it poorly at first. It wasn't, like, how I truly thought the future was going to go, I just thought it was, like, there is this, brief,
lingering.
yeah, lingering possibility that they
Mhm,
return back, to their relationship and everything, but, I mean, not as ambiguous as, I'd say, like, Anatomy of a Fall. That is way more ambiguous, and really a debate can be had for kind of either way there, I think,
mhm.
but this was, I mean, just a how do you make a romance movie, like, interesting, or have, like, a crazy ending, or create, like, it to me, it's like, it just has to be that good of a love story. Like, it has to be, and he kinda even lays it out. He's like, "How do I compete?" Your
Mhm.
childhood lovers, and then separated for years, and now you're back together, and all these feelings are flooding back in, and I'm just the guy you
I don't
met on a
think
riding retreat or whatever, and we got married so fast, and everything was rushed, whatever. Um, but no, it was so, it felt so, like, like mimicking actual reality. Like, this wasn't a movie relationship. This was, like,
Mhm. It's
legitimate. This, yeah.
it's the other, you mentioned American Fiction is perfect for the time. I think Poor Things is, like,
Mm,
the epitome of a modern romance movie. Like, it's just as far as, like, what relationships are in this time where we are right now,
yeah,
I think it just kinda knocks it out of the park. The
so,
evolved nature of Arthur and Nora and their relationship and the way that
mm,
they are very open about everything and they discuss everything openly
very
and they
healthy the way they converse.
very healthy. They're an
Yeah.
extremely healthy pair.
Mhm.
Um, so it's just the way that it's written that way, it ends up making it's so fascinating that there's no bad guy. There's
Mm-mm.
nobody you're rooting against.
No.
You just want everyone to make it out of it fine and happy, like you want
Yeah.
everyone to get what they want, uh, and it's devastating for that reason,
That's
It's,
why an interesting thought that occurred to me in the middle of the movie is, like, how much the internet and everything has changed dating and just love in general. Like, before the internet was a thing, you only knew the people you met in real life. Like, you had to go and meet that person and actually talk to them. You only knew the people that were around you. But then now I can meet someone in China right now if I want,
Mhm,
like, not truly, but I could, and
yeah,
or anywhere in the world. And that is an interesting, like, thought of how connected we are now. Like, are we more connected or less connected through that? Um, but you're writing, like, a beautiful movie for the time, because they do go through that. Like they're Skyping at first, you know, kind of see the evolution of like early internet and everything like that. Like they're on Facebook and adding each other and having to just text at first, but then they Skype and then like
And,
the
like,
internet
I know
condition,
they're
like the
grown
problems
ass
they have.
people. They're grown
Mm.
ass people in 2012, but, like, the nostalgia it gave me for the
Yes,
stuff they were
dude.
doing in 2012 just
The Skype
dominated. I was
sounds, like whenever it was like
yeah.
or like I was like, "Oh my god." And then like it
Yeah,
freezing and like, "Can you hear me? No, I
bro.
can't hear.
Oh,
Can you hear me?" Like,
they fucking nail
mm,
the chemistry of the FaceTime relationship. Um,
yeah, they do. Like,
there's stretches. I finally got I This was the worst theater experience I've ever had in my life. The first time I saw it,
damn.
I got to see it again, and it was great. So I was like, thank fucking God, I got a good one in. Um,
Mhm.
but the the FaceTime calls where they've talked and they've been talking and they've been talking and they've been talking, and then there's just that like pause.
Mhm. Oh, yeah, it's just that oh, dude. No,
And
they
then I'm like, I don't know if I should say this.
yeah,
Like that
I've
like
been
all
thinking
it's
this.
so fucking cute, man. It's
Mhm.
perfect. They nail what that's like. And I think that I I adore it.
Her,
I got
like,
to like I didn't
keeping her
what's that?
laptop open to hear the calls if they're coming in
Yeah.
or, like, you know, I don't know, just the montage they had of their
You said you
calls,
never
like,
wake up. You said you never wake up before 10, and she's like, "Well,
like,
you said this is the only time that
"It's the
works
only
for
time
you."
that works, so, like,
Yeah,
obviously I
no, like,
have to be
it's
here." It's
beautiful,
oh
dude.
man, yeah.
Like, I got to experience this sort of the dynamic of this relationship very early on in my relationship with Emily because she was going to school here, but her family's in St. Louis.
Mhm.
So, and she's basically lived with me basically since we've met, but, that was still a little too early for her to be like, "You can stay here the entirety of Christmas break,"
Yeah.
like, "That'll be fine." Um, so she was in St. Louis for, like, 3 weeks out of the first month and a half of our relationship.
Mhm.
So, like, just the going to bed at night with your computer open and talking sometimes, but other times you're not even really talking, you're just sitting
Mhm.
there, and that's like the company when you're not in their company is like they fucking nail what that's like, and, I
Wow.
think that
Yeah.
it benefits just brilliantly from it. Um,
Definitely a
but yeah,
stacked
so
category, but this one just kinda had all the boxes checked.
no,
Like,
and,
it just
like, that's
checked
what's
every
crazy.
box.
That's what's crazy. A stacked category, and in my head, it's not fucking close, like, Past Lives is the best original screenplay.
What
Um,
is the closest one?
I mean,
Maybe
for me, it's Asteroid City.
Asteroid City, yeah, but even then, it's like, wow, even Wes Anderson's, like,
It's not getting
that's
I mean, like,
nuts.
that's an even crazier thing to say in a category with Anatomy of a Fall and May, December, and The Holdovers. It's like, those are incredibly written
Yeah.
movies. So, like, it was just a no-brainer for me that Past Lives win this category, and if the Academy doesn't agree, I'll riot. So, um,
Mhm. We
but,
all riot.
yeah, we
Um,
do. We all do. But, that is our winner for Best Original Screenplay of 2023, Past Lives by Celine Song, and that'll bring us back to the acting categories. We
mhm.
will start with Best Actress, and we will move to Best Actor. So, the Best Actress nominees for the Penny Bloom Film Awards are Carey Mulligan in Maestro, Emma Stone in Poor Things, Greta Lee in Past Lives, Lily Gladstone in Killers of the Flower Moon, Margot Robbie in Barbie, Natalie Portman in May December, and Sandra Hüller in Anatomy of a Fall.
Talk about a category that really isn't close. I think this one is kind of one
Yeah.
that is there, but,
Well, it's crazy
um
because it's like top 1 is top 1. I don't think there's
mhm.
as big a gap between my top 1 and then my 2 and 3 as there is between my 2 and 3 and my 4, 5, 6, and 7. You
Mm,
know what I'm saying? I'm like, my top 3 are my top fucking 3, you know? But
yeah.
let's talk about those other 4.
Mhm.
Um, Margot Robbie, love her. I love Margot Robbie, and it was kind of embarrassing to look through 2023 movies and
Mm,
kind of because we got 5 Best Actress nominees. We were comfortable with them. And then we were like, "What are our 6 and 7?" You know?
yeah.
It was a little like, "What do we go with here?" This is not quite as stacked a category as all the other ones.
Mhm.
Not to say that these performances are weak. No, there's a reason we've mentioned them here. Um,
Mhm.
Margot Robbie and Carey Mulligan for me are the bottom 2 in this category. Um,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
enjoy them both greatly. They both do wonderful in their respective roles. But they were our last 2 in. They will be our first 2 out here.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah. And I think it is kind of crazy that Ryan Gosling gets a nomination, but Margot Robbie doesn't, which is interesting there. And then America Ferrera does, but Margot Robbie doesn't. Yeah, I don't really know what they're doing over there, but it is the first out. But of the Barbie movie, I thought Margot
that's the
Robbie
best performance of the
was
movie.
the
Yeah.
performance. So even though that it is a first out, she did a phenomenal job for the movie, and it is kind of weird how like Barbie over time is like going for me, and
Mhm.
I wonder how
I like it.
like
I like it a
yeah,
great deal.
it's
It's just not as good as I mean, like, if there was any other category I would have given it a nom in, it's director. But the director category is probably the most insanely stacked category of this
yeah,
entire list.
yeah. We were like, do we go to 10? We were
Do
like,
we give 10
do we? Yeah,
nominations here?
can we do that? I guess we could, but we still wanted to limit somewhat, and be
But yeah, it's
yeah.
ironic that the categories that it did get nominated, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Supporting Actress, and Best Supporting Actor, are the exact inverse of what I would have given it, which are Best Actress and Best Director, if I was gonna give it anything.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
so, that's why I love me some Margot Robbie, though, man. I do,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that without her, Barbie's not possible, you know? Without her, that movie's not nearly as good as it is. Um, her and Greta Gerwig were quintessential in making that vision,
Yeah.
uh on screen. So I love it. But yeah, her and Carey Mulligan first out for me. The other two that are like first outs for me, which is crazy because they're so fucking good, are on a personal note, Natalie Portman in May December and Sandra Huller in Anatomy of a Fall.
Mm-hmm.
I love those performances. Those are fucking crazy performances, dude. Sandra Huller specifically
That's the one I think better. Yeah, if I were to put one over the
in
other,
well,
probably Sandra
in
Huller.
this
But
year, according to the Academy, I think we've got all the nominees except for Annette Bening and Nyad. Neither of us watched that.
mhm.
Uh, we've got Lily Gladstone, Emma Stone, Sandra Huller, and Carey Mulligan. They all got Academy Award nominations. Um, you go through like most years, and Sandra Huller, who was probably third in that run, like wins. Like most any other year. And that's fucking insane. Like she did so fucking good in this movie
Mhm.
that like I mean that fight scene with her husband in Anatomy of a Fall, you know, your generosity contains something darker and meaner. Like that whole the way that she presents that is fucking
Mm.
incredible, dude.
Yeah. The whole like everyone in relationships argue, and if you boil a relationship down to that one argument, everything else can be seen to seem that way. Like I thought like her moments in court were even really good. Like she did a phenomenal job, but that's crazy that it is kind of like a one that we're like, yeah, it's
And on a
not the
personal
top
that's on a
there.
personal
But
note, you know, I think you
mhm.
could absolutely make an argument that in terms of just sheer acting presence and prowess,
Mm.
probably top 2, um,
Mhm.
but there are a couple performances I just enjoyed more, I mean, like, Sandra Huller's presence we're talking we talked earlier about, like, if this person's not in this movie, it's not as good.
If you don't have
Sandra
her,
Huller is
you don't
the
have
fucking,
the
like, that's
movie,
yeah,
actually. Yeah, you just
she
have to make
is
a whole different
the
movie. Um,
piece. So that like she's for me the best part of Anatomy of a Fall, along with Snoopy, um, the dog. Love the
Yeah,
dog.
Snoopy the dog.
Also Milo Machado Graner, the child actor,
Dude,
fucking incredible.
dude.
He did so good.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
was an early contender in my best supporting actor category before I filled it out a little bit more. But
Mhm.
yeah, no, Sandra Huller, she's great. Natalie Portman, that last little monologue she gives in the mirror where she's looking directly at the camera and she starts doing the Julianne Moore voice. She has the lisp,
Mhm.
and the more she's lying, the more and then the interaction they have at the end of the movie where she is basically being her
Mm.
to her face.
It was so I guess I've always known that actors have to go through some sort of method in order to act like the person they're going to
Do
act
this.
like, and
Yeah.
but I've never thought about the actual process of doing so. I don't think like this movie. It really got me to like whenever she's doing her makeup with her like in the bathroom and she's like trying to mimic her face, like her like the way everything she's trying to mimic everything, and I'm like, oh my god, like that is like that's what you have to do, but it's so strange to me. It's so foreign to like hold your lips and hold your mouth and hold your cheeks
Well,
and like
and that's what's even funnier is that they're making fun of this kind of actors or this kind of actor.
mm, yeah. Is it that or is it like the situation that you're doing it for is you should not be method acting in this situation, like maybe method acting is okay in some situations, but this is
I
not
think
one where you want to method act.
I think that's definitely part of it, but I do think there's a grander sort of implication with it. Um,
Hmm.
because the last scene of the movie, when they're filming the exact same thing that had basically already been made and it's not very good and it's not she did all this work, she did all this method acting, she ruined a fucking life and all this stuff and it's just for a movie. I think that's
Yeah.
ultimately what it like it's
Oh,
just for a movie,
okay.
like
Okay.
it's just for a normal fucking movie. You did all that, and so I think that the specific scenario that this one is it obviously has grander implications on the
Mhm.
livelihood of like Charles Melton's character and on the children of that family and so that sort of thing is a little different but
Hmm.
it's just she was when she's on the phone talking about what 13-year-old they're going to cast and how none of them are hot enough
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you're like oh god
Uh-oh, you're getting a little
you're
too
disgusting.
yeah, and the guy's like,
Yeah,
"Hey, maybe you should come home."
yeah,
Like, I think you need to come home.
maybe you need
Something
to fucking stop,
you're
okay.
not yourself. Yeah, and like at the like, "Oh no, now it's getting real for me." Like I was like,
It hasn't been real. Took you
okay."
4 took you 4 or 5 takes to get into a mode like this? Like, you've been
Okay.
spending months with her,
Her sitting
like,
outside that door in
mhm,
the or I don't know what previous place she used to work at or
pet
whatever.
store.
Oh my god. Like that's like you're like she's literally becoming like involved in the crime and in the actual crime itself by just acting. And yeah, that's definitely just fucked. But Natalie Portman, it's crazy that she's not a winner. She's not going to win this and it's I
No,
don't like not
no.
close to the winner. Um
No, yeah, so those were my
but
bottom 4, and then we enter the upper echelon, which consists of the Infinity Stones, if they have as they have dubbed themselves,
uh-huh.
Lily
Oh.
Gladstone and Emma Stone. Uh,
Yes.
they become like besties, which is fucking awesome through this whole thing, and I love
Hmm.
that. But my other is Greta Lee. Um
Oh, dude, come on. Come
in a
on.
category that has so like in a year that has such a fantastic balance of subtlety and not over the top, but just like you are becoming someone else, sort of.
Mhm.
Uh, this presents us a perfect balance. Emma Stone is doing this over the top, wonderful thing with Bella Baxter that she's not Bella Baxter. There's nothing like that in her, and it's hilarious that
Mhm.
she's presenting that, and it's wonderful. It's and when it comes to like our best supporting, like again, I would go like Mark Ruffalo. Like that's just what Poor Things lent
Wow.
itself to. It's fantastical. It is a fantasy movie. So like it's just a different level, but the subtle human nature of like Lily Gladstone and Greta Lee, the way that they present their emotions and their lives and their humanity is just so poignant. And I think that, you know, there's a moment in past lives, like immediately, where there's this talk of like movie directors used to be able to shoot someone and you knew they were a fucking star,
Hmm.
you know? And we've lost that a little bit. I think the first shot of them all at the bar with the white people across the bar speculating like what they're going
Ooh.
through and like who they are, and then Greta Lee like just
Looks right at
looks
camera.
right at the camera. It's kind of like it zooms in on her and she looks right at the camera. You're kind of like, "Oh, okay.
This is the main
That's
character.
that's
This
who it is."
this is who
Yes.
I'm focusing on the whole movie. Yeah, no, she did incredible. And like having to just emulate these real relationship problems in a relationship in which she has no like that's the crazy part to me is that she is dealing with two relationships in this movie with people that she probably hasn't really met before ever.
Right. Yeah.
Which is just mind-boggling that
The chemistry that they all have is
oh my god. Yeah.
impeccable.
It's great. Like how do you not
Even
fall in love, you know, like sometimes like it's kind of I don't know. Some of these are too perfect to I guess there's a lot of downtime in between scenes. It's not like they're living this their whole life. They are
yeah,
going
right.
home at the end of the day, going back to their own families and everything. But anyway, no, Greta Lee, and she wasn't nommed.
She is for me the most egregious snub of the award season for the Academy Awards.
That's
Um,
crazy. That
she
almost pisses
is
me off more than Penelope Cruz.
yeah, no, like they're my top 2. Those
That's
2
bad.
getting snubbed are horrendous. Those are
Yeah.
the worst snubs of the award season. Um, and I fucking loved her, dude.
What the
Like I
fuck?
already enjoyed Greta Lee's work because I'd seen her, and ironically enough, a lot of people will know her from like Girls, um,
Hmm.
from a long time ago. But the thing that I knew her from going into it was the Netflix series Russian Doll. Um,
Hmm.
Fantastic show. The writer is actually going to be writing The Acolyte. So like, if you want a little
Okay.
bit of a like, if you watch The Russian Doll, you'll go, "Oh, okay." You know, like, The Acolyte's gonna be fucking
Oh,
good.
we're cooking.
But regardless,
Okay.
Greta Lee plays a small role in that. She's, like, the best friend of Natasha Lyonne, and it's kind of a Groundhog Day situation. She keeps living the same night over and over, and she's trying to escape it, and that's kind of what the premise of the first season is anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so Natasha Lyonne like keeps waking up in this bathroom and she walks out to like this kitchen island in this party that's being hosted by Greta Lee, and she's there and she's talking about doing cocaine and stuff. So it's hilarious
Hmm.
to like I've known her as like a fun party girl type of actress, and to see her ground herself in this
Mm-hmm.
sort of thing was
Yeah.
incredible. I loved it, and frankly, like she delivered on one of my favorite movies of all time, and became an actress where if she's in anything, I'm going to watch it, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And that's
Wow.
fucking incredible.
Yeah, I hope the only reason she got snubbed is that the winner is so obvious, maybe, you know,
Yeah.
that they're like, okay, we really don't care about anything. I hope that they do choose the winner correctly here because it kind
I
of,
think it's a no-brainer. I think it's a no-brainer. Our winner for Best Actress of 2023 is Lily Gladstone in
yeah.
Killers of the Flower Moon. There were some of these categories where we could have a little fun. We could, you know, in score, we're like, let's go the zone of interest. You know, there are more obvious ones that I feel like people will go, oh, I love listening to that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we get adapted screenplay. I stand by these choices. I truly think they deserve these awards. I'm not
Yeah.
saying like we just spread love to spread love, but we got to be a little bit more like, ooh, let's have a little fun here. American fiction, adapted screenplay,
Mm-hmm.
supporting actress. Let's give it a split. You know, this one, no, it's Lily Gladstone. It's Lily fucking
This one's
Gladstone, man.
objective. This one is just factual.
Yeah,
There's
right.
no,
Like,
I don't know. Like we're not experts. I don't think it takes an expert to kind of to see this one. It's you're playing the
anyone.
whole life of someone, and then like also having to play sick and like dying as
Yes,
well
yes.
when you're not sick or dying is insane, and she does it effortlessly. And it's like it's
Brilliant.
crazy that she's in a movie with Robert De Niro, Leonardo DiCaprio, and she is like kind of clearly the acting performance of the movie, and
Mhm.
that's bonker. Like that
Dude,
is just
she is
insane. Um,
there's a presence about her that so few are putting on, you know? Like, I will despise anyone who says that her performance is just, like, stone face. Like, there are people who think that she does not do enough to warrant any nomination or that she's doing any acting, and to that, I must question if you are watching the
that's what I was
same
gonna
fucking
say.
movie
Are
as
we
me.
sure that you
Um,
have the right version of the movie? Are you
yeah,
sure you didn't get
dude,
some weird
there
parody?
is nothing. I rewatched like, the theater experience was so fucking special. I loved seeing Killers of the Flower Moon on the big screen, that was wonderful, but as soon as I could watch it at home, and I saw it all again, and, you know, I was watching it knowing everything that happens and knowing everything that's coming and all the choices and everything. The part that still gutted me is when Leonardo DiCaprio voyeurs through the house after the explosion across the street and her sister died, and he looks down the stairs, he just shakes his head, and she just fucking screams. It is
Oh god, yeah.
harrowing, dude,
Oh.
and there's like a sob at the end of it where she screams at the top of her lungs, and then it breaks into a and it's like,
Mhm.
the fact that that's not real, I tend to like it depends on every actor's method. There are
Could have been
actors who will
coming
tell
from
you
something very
the
real. Yeah.
emotions
Yeah.
are real, they're just applying them to a
Mhm.
scenario, and like, but the idea that that's not real, that her sister didn't literally just die, and that
Mm-mm.
she is not literally mourning the death of someone who just exploded across the street.
Mm-mm.
Um,
Nope. Yeah.
dude,
Yeah,
she's
I
perfect.
we will
She's
be
perfect.
watching her acting career with much interest. Yeah,
Great
with very, very, very much interest. I will be sat down pretty much anything she is a part of now. I'm hoping her career just launches after this.
Yeah,
Um,
she,
and
apparently she's already booked another role in a major production
hmm,
after this, and that's really the point of, like, Academy Award nominations. That's why I'm, like, really pissed Greta Lee didn't get one, um,
yeah,
is
it's to
because
give them the spotlight, to give them the
as much as the accolades are nice, if it doesn't turn into opportunity, it's fucking pointless.
mm,
Who cares, you know?
mhm.
It's like, "Yeah, thank you for recognizing me for this one thing, but how about that leads to me being in another thing?" You know?
Yeah.
So that was why I was like that's why Greta Lee's she's in the spotlight a lot though. She's been getting a lot of love regardless. So I'm hoping that that
Mhm.
ends up helping her career a lot
Okay.
because I mean she's already had a pretty successful career, but it'd be nice for her to be a leading lady
It
permanently now.
seems, on her IMDb page at least, there are 3 upcoming projects. One is a TV miniseries. She's in 1 episode, it looks like, but then 2 other things that are in pre-production. One called Jazzy and The Memory Police. So
That
not
sounds
sure
dope.
what those will be,
But
but
yeah,
mm,
And Lily Gladstone, man, like she was in a movie in 2016 that I liked a lot called Certain Women. Um, had Laura Dern, Kristen Stewart, Michelle Williams, and
mm,
Lily Gladstone. They were like, so this is in 2016, by the way.
mhm.
Um,
Wow.
Lily Gladstone is in a movie with Laura Dern, Michelle Williams, and Kristen Stewart. And she does a storyline with Kristen Stewart that it's like 3 separate stories. Laura Dern has her story, Michelle Williams has her
Mhm.
story, and Lily Gladstone has her story, and her and Kristen Stewart's kinda go hand in hand. And I watched that after Killers of the Flower Moon, and I'm like, "Why was it ever a thing that she was considering going into, like, computer programming before getting the call for Killers of the Flower Moon?" Like, she was about to be done with acting because she was not getting jobs. Um,
Wow. Oh my god.
and then the
That's
phone rings and it's Martin Scorsese, you know?
imagine how
Um,
much talent's just out there. that just never gets a call or
Exactly. Exactly.
never gets an
So,
opportunity,
like,
but
and that's why I'm like, I'm hoping the opportunities keep rolling for Lily Gladstone because she is so fucking talented, and what she put on display in Killers of the Flower Moon is something special, and that's why she is our best actress of 2023. Shall we get on to best actor?
mhm. The last of well, I guess we have director and
We have
best picture,
director and
but
picture, but
those feel
the
like
last
those feel like
the last
kind
acting
of I
category.
don't know, the last 2
Yeah,
big ones, but this
yeah,
these
yeah.
are yeah. Um,
These are solid though. These are, I mean,
mm,
like, these are really solid. Our best actor nominees are Adam Driver in Ferrari, Andrew Scott in All of Us Strangers, Bradley Cooper in Maestro, Killian Murphy in Oppenheimer, Jeffrey Wright in American Fiction, Paul Giamatti in The Holdovers, and Tou in Past Lives. This is like I love this category, man. A few of my favorite performances that, I mean, they never stood a chance as far
it's
as
kind of
like
the same as last category,
it
and
is. It
this
is,
one's
you
a
know,
little
like
objective,
my
but
top 1 is up there. My 2 and 3 are below that, and then my 4, 5, 6, 7 are also below those, and it's just there's gaps everywhere, but,
mhm.
um, I mean, Adam Driver, if you
Mm.
listen to our Ferrari episode, we did nothing but heap praise at that man.
Oh, yeah.
Um, he
Oh,
did
yeah.
an incredible job. Um, he was so fucking good. You know, I used the, Martin Scorsese dubbed. He
Mhm.
had that girth,
He did.
because he did.
He did. Yeah, he was very, very the presence on screen,
Mhm.
was Adam Driver, and to think of all the previous actors it could have been, you know, a Christian Bale, a Russell Crowe, a I think De Niro
Robert De Niro.
even,
Yeah,
yeah. But to think that I believe Adam Driver might have been the best pick for this role. Like
I think so
it's
too.
crazy. I'd like to see those other versions, but the version we got, I loved
I
and is
love that movie, man.
very very I don't know that's the word I kind of use for that movie is gravitating. I'm always drawn back to it when I thought that I kind of wouldn't be. It's just sort of I'm always wanting to kind of sit down and watch. Um, Whenever I see it, it's just that well made. I think you know it's
It is.
Michael Mann's. You know he's been wanting to make it for quite some time, so maybe that's why it's quite the passion project. But yeah, Adam Driver, he's probably my. I don't know if he is the closest to the winner here, but pretty damn close for me. I really really liked Adam Driver in Ferrari personally, but
Yeah.
no,
No,
oh,
I
never
love that
mind.
dude.
There's one other one that is actually way closer than Adam Driver to me. I kind of looked over it. I glossed over it.
Adam Driver was
Um,
actually one of my bottom 4,
yeah, yeah. I'm
which is
looking.
kind of
Yeah,
insane.
now that I'm
Uh
looking, I'm like, okay, I'm whoopsies
I'll
there.
go into your other
Um,
blind spot for this one. All of Us Strangers is
mhm.
actually this is my last one prior to doing this.
Okay.
You know, All of Us Strangers was the last movie I got in under the wire. Um, Absolutely adored it. Andrew Scott and Paul Mescal in this weird romance movie that I did not know what I was getting into. All I
Mm.
knew was that it was a queer love story. Um, and
Moriarty. Wow. Just put
uh,
that together. Oh, is
the
it
movie,
bad? Like
no, it's
like
really
not
good.
bad movie,
So
but like
good.
is it like
It's so good, but it's like, what the fuck is happening here?
okay.
And
Wow.
I won't even begin to get into that. I will give you the basic of the plot. Andrew Scott is a man living in a newly opened apartment complex in London, and there's not many tenants. Hardly anybody's moved in. Only he and Paul Mescal have moved in.
Mhm.
Uh, there's a point in the movie where pretty early on, him and Paul Mescal talk, and that's just kind of that. But the next day, Andrew Scott hops a train and he goes to the suburbs outside of London, and he finds a house, and he eventually he finds his way up to that house, and there's a man and a woman, and they greet him, and they're very kind and they're pleasant, and uh, you're kind of like, how do they know Andrew Scott? How do they know his character here? Because they're about the actors who play them are Claire Foy and Jamie Bell, who are both 10 years younger than Andrew Scott.
Okay.
But they are his mom and dad. So you kind of have a tough time grasping what's going on here. They died when he was 12.
Oh. Okay.
So he's he's visiting them in his
Hmm.
head.
Okay.
He's catching up with them. He's telling them about his life, and that's kind of the launching off point for the movie. Um, it's this really metaphysical, devastating story,
Mhm.
and Andrew Scott anchors it so well. Like, there's so much of the movie that the writing is already good. It's solid, but he's elevating the material to a point where it's you feel everything because he's feeling everything.
Hmm.
Uh, he's so fucking good in this role as Adam in All of Us Strangers, and I think that it was already a stacked category. One of the ones that I didn't end up including here that did get nominated
Mhm.
at the Academy was Coleman Domingo as as Rustin in the movie Rustin. Um, so fucking good, also brilliant.
Mm.
There's just that many performances that I really, really loved.
Mhm.
If I was going to pick one blind spot you had, it was gonna be this one. It wasn't gonna be Coleman Domingo's, and, like,
Okay.
that says a lot because Coleman Domingo
Yeah.
is one of my favorite working. So, like,
Mhm.
that's why I'm like, this guy is this movie is fucking incredible, and what he does in it is even better. So Andrew
Yeah.
Scott deserved a nom.
Yeah.
Not quite a win, but he deserved a nom.
All I know him as is Moriarty in
Yeah,
Sherlock.
Sherlock.
So that
Yeah.
yeah, that would be
He was in one
pretty cool.
episode of Black
Yeah.
Mirror. Do you remember the episode of Black Mirror he's in?
Oh,
He's like
he's
the
not the
Uber
one that has to
driver.
fuck the pig. Oh, yes.
He's
Very
not the one who had to fuck the
yeah,
pig.
no. Black Mirror just yeah, that's a
There's a
crazy
lot going on
fucking
there. There's a lot
show
going on
there.
there.
Um,
Um,
but
but
okay.
yeah, so Andrew Scott. My other bottom tier was Bradley Cooper in Maestro. I think he
Mhm.
does a wonderful job. He does not concern himself with reining it in by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
I'm reining it in.
Why did he channel Jimmy Hoffa out of nowhere
Yeah,
in the movie, or like maybe just Al Pacino? I don't know. It seemed more Jimmy Hoffa,
yeah, right.
but it
It's a
could have
little, it's
been.
a little bit of
Yeah,
both.
I don't know.
No,
Um,
I mean he's charming, man. He's charming in that
mhm.
role. I think he does a great job, and a lot of people
He's just a
bash
loving
it as well.
guy, you
He's a,
know?
he's a
It's a
lot.
loving guy that just he loves a lot, and he I don't know, it was a cute movie, you know? It was cute to watch, it was very pleasing. No one did bad, it was not actively bad in any way,
No, no, no,
but it
no.
just,
It's
um it's kinda all it was. It just never elevated, to beyond that, really.
I mean, the
Um
moment whenever he's composing, and they do that long take where it's, like, kinda panning around him, and he's fucking up
Mm,
there, like, the crowd and then, like, when it ends and he embraces Carey
yeah.
Mulligan, like,
Yeah.
that's the best scene in the movie, man. Like, um,
Yeah.
that's the part where I felt like he decided I made that comment earlier about how, I didn't learn a lot about Leonard Bernstein, but I learned a lot about Bradley Cooper.
Mhm.
Um That's the part when you learn a little bit about Leonard Bernstein. That's the part where I feel like he channeled that
Flow state.
more than any other
Yep.
part of the yes, yes,
Flow
yes, he's
state,
in the
whole
flow.
soul thing going on there. He was in channeling him for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just looked over Jeffrey Wright and Paul Giamatti. I don't know how they kind of slipped my mind whenever I was thinking like, oh yeah, Adam Driver, the closest to Killian or
Yeah.
that we have, but no, kind of slipped over them. A little whoopsies there because yeah, no, these they both kind of just absolutely killed the movies that they were in, and I
They're they're just some real a like, there's Jeffrey Wright plays Thelonious Ellison with such a realism that, is so like, he falls into the same category as, like, Greta Lee and John Magaro and, Lily Gladstone and TOU for me. Like, they're so believable, they're so natural that
mm,
it's crazy that I'm watching Jeffrey Wright, who I fucking love. If you listen to this podcast, we love Jeffrey Wright. Um,
chapter one.
Chapter
No,
1.
yeah, all the way from Westworld. From Westworld,
Speaking
it
of
was
Asteroid City's fucking screenplay, Um,
Mm.
milk the goats, pluck the chickens. That was life. That whole thing, fucking
Oh,
incredible. But yeah, Jeffrey Wright is kind of a dual nod for me. American Fiction and Asteroid City. He
man.
deserved a little bit of
Yeah.
love. Um,
Like the scene where um they're at like I think it's just kind of nighttime. They're just kind of hanging out in the backyard, swimming. I think I don't know, or playing
mm,
bocce. Maybe I think is actually what's going down. And then his brother kind of starts making fun of him a little bit. I think, and then I forgot what was said specifically, but Jeffrey Wright goes, he's like, oh, and it just got a little too real, or like, and then you went a little too far, or something. He's like, that one hurt. Like it just started like,
yeah,
but before he says that,
don't
like
call it
whenever
fuck. Yeah,
whenever it
I
comes
just
out,
his,
oh yeah.
yeah, dude, his the way he delivers dialogue is
How
just
about we
unmatched.
call it fuck? Yeah, like it's just and then him having to play that convict, I forgot
Yeah,
his
yeah.
like what do you call that?
Stag R. Lee.
Yeah. Whenever he has to play him, like that's also a whole nother layer, that he has to go down into, which I think is funny. Whenever he starts to like he's walking towards the whatever the meeting, he's like, okay, yeah, gotta get into character. He's like, oh, he wants the stereotype. I'll give him the stereotype. I love Jeffrey Wright's voice. Just I don't know. I think he's the next like Morgan Freeman for
So
me.
good. Yeah.
And I don't know.
Go with me.
I am
Ponder the question.
yeah, I'm sticking with Jeffrey Wright, and I don't know, forever.
Till the
Like
day I die.
this
Dude, I
man
love
is
it.
just the
I
yeah.
love that man.
Mhm.
But another one that we didn't really get a chance to talk on here was TOU.
Mm.
Kind of the
Okay.
same category as Greta Lee and John Magaro. Just so real, natural. And that scene where it does key in on them at the bar. Um, if
Mm.
there's ever been an Oscar clip moment for
Mm.
anybody, that's
Wow. Yeah, whenever it's
a
just
fucking
them
Oscar clip moment.
talking, I do like
Yeah.
that.
Uh,
Another
when he delivers that line, like, I didn't think it would hurt this much to like your husband. Like the way he delivers it with such, like, sad clarity,
Mhm.
kind of just like a,
Like damn. Like
gotta give it to him. Like, I like this guy, and it fucking sucks that, like,
yeah. It's
I'd
like
rather hate him. I'd rather hate him for you, and I wish he was a worse guy, but I don't wish that. I'm glad you're with somebody who's making you happy, and like, there's so much loaded into that scene that's
mhm.
just
Oh my
it's
god.
so good.
Oh
It's
my
so good.
lord. Yeah, that scene goes hard. But even whenever they're just FaceTiming and then she finally says, let's stop talking. Let's go on our break. And then you see him like, no, yeah, that's a good idea, I think. He's like, no, I do think this is a good
He
idea. And
says,
then he
like, "I don't know why I'm like this,"
yeah.
like, he sits back and he's, like, about to cry, and he's like, it's not like you're my girlfriend or anything,"
Oh
like, "I
man,
don't know why I'm
no.
like this,"
God, that
it
movie is
gutting. I
something.
love that
Yeah.
guy, and so I wanted to give him a little love. He's not the winner, but the other one, Paul Giamatti. It's again, if I can point to a fucking moment, it's when they're at that party and he thinks he's about to, he's macking with the other teacher, and then she gets up and greets her husband, and he just like, he goes like this, like the utter hopelessness, the just let down despair of just being like, well, and it's also embarrassment, and it's like, I thought, like, when you feel like you've been led astray, but it's not somebody else's fault. Like, it was just something you thought, and it's just
Mhm.
like, you feel self-conscious about being stupid, you feel self-conscious about reading it, like, again, another, like, Thelonious Ellison and Paul Hunnam,
Yeah.
feel them deeply. Those are
Yeah.
my fucking boys this year.
Yeah, whenever
Uh,
he's or I forgot what the dude's name, but just her ex. Like I don't know, they're going through a breakup, and the
yeah,
dude walks
yeah,
in out of after work, and he's like, "Oh, I have to go, or I will,
yeah.
I'll see you
Oh,
tomorrow."
I,
It's like this awkward. It's like, oh, well, I don't know what to do here, but Paul Giamatti's is just kind of like, oh, it's just.
speaking of, speaking of the holdovers, this isn't really concerning his performance, although his performance plays into it really well. Did you notice that his lazy eye switches throughout the movie?
I swear to God, I was gonna say that. Like, I, I,
Yeah.
I, I didn't know if it was just me, like, not remembering well, but I'm like, is he doing that on his own? Is that like because he does say like
No,
this
there's
one at the
prosthetics.
end.
It's
So, but like,
it's like a
is that I don't know, but like, is Is that how lazy eyes work? Like, that they do go? Like,
No, no, that's a movie choice. That's a
so
movie
just
choice.
okay, just to
Um,
kinda just throw you off a little bit, or, like, is
I
just
I kinda took it to be a little bit more of just like a he's been this fringe character, this background guy who everyone's aware of, but nobody likes to be with. So
mm,
nobody really pays enough attention to know which eye
mm,
is his lazy eye. They avoid it, they don't look at it, they don't look at him, they don't wanna stare, so they don't
mhm,
even end up figuring out which eye is his lazy eye. So
okay.
I think that
Hmm,
Dominic Sessa had cared enough, Angus Tully had cared enough to finally be like, "So what is like,"
it's
and
this
he
one.
gives it to him.
Oh man, yeah, it's
So
like,
that's kinda how I took it.
mm,
But, and like those last moments with him and Dominic Sessa, you know, like whenever he has been fired and he's talking to him and
yeah, the
they give the last little handshake. Dude, I love it. I love it.
I
I
thought
can't
they
wait
were
for
gonna rein it in for a hug there, or I don't know, like,
yeah.
come on, just give a nice little hug there at the end. I don't I guess
Still 70s,
yeah,
still the 70s, and
not
Paul Hunnam
comfortable
was
yet.
born in, like,
Mhm,
I gotta guess the 30s if we're in the 70s here. So
that's
old
true.
school guy to
Yeah,
be sure.
very.
Um,
Oh, he loved his Latin phrases, and his, I don't know if it was Latin or maybe I don't know what
Marcus,
language.
his
Um,
Marcus Aurelius.
yeah, he's, yeah, here you go, here's a present for you, meditations, like, "Hey, maybe you need this." I don't know, I've never read Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. I don't know if it's kind of like a self-help or like a
It's a
sort of
philosophy book.
yeah, so I don't know if it was like, "Hey, your times are getting hard," but then yeah, same present for everybody, and then you see when he's moving his stuff out, he just got a box of them. You know,
Yeah.
he's ready
He's got
to
all of those.
but
That's his universal gift. Anybody who's
mhm,
getting a gift is getting, Meditations by Marcus Aurelius.
mhm,
Um,
yep,
now great character, great performance by Paul Giamatti, but, the winner of our Best Actor category for the Penny Bloom Film Awards in 2023 is Cillian Murphy in Oppenheimer. He brings something to a biopic, that blends that subtlety that you're seeing with Lily Gladstone and Greta Lee
mm,
and Jeffrey Wright and Paul Giamatti, but he gets to it feels like just such strong character work. You know, there's such
mhm.
a you are be he is versus Maestro, another biopic. I'm not getting any Killian Murphy out of this, bro. I'm getting fucking J. Robert Oppenheimer. Um,
Mhm. Yeah.
that's
Yeah, no, this in a biopic that I think is more focused on the emotions of the person it's about as well. Like it's I don't maybe Maestro, I don't know. Maestro is
I think
I don't
Maestro's a
know what
lot
I'm
more about the circumstance,
yeah, how I'm
the
trying to say this.
situation he
It's
was in versus the way he reacted to those situations versus the way he felt in those situations.
mhm,
Um, uh, Oppenheimer does a great job of blending that. It takes the happenstance, it takes the scenarios he finds himself directly involved in, and
mhm.
it emphasizes just how strongly it's making him feel or not
Just
feel.
after it
Um,
goes off and he's supposed to give a hype speech, to everybody, and he starts having probably the biggest panic
World
attack he's ever
will
had in his
remember this
life.
day
Um, exactly, and he like that might be my favorite scene out of the
of
year.
the year.
Like, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm struggling
When
to
we
kind
saw
of
that, bro, in 70 millimeter in a full fucking theater, just one of the most special theater experiences of my life. But when he's delivering that and the scream happens, the sound cuts out, the lights flash, and you just see him fucking like lose it. Dude,
I'm getting
he is
goosebumps
so.
again.
I
Yeah,
am probably
holy.
going to watch Oppenheimer tonight.
Yeah, that's yeah, for before this project, I had to get in new movies that I haven't
Yeah.
seen, but the one that I am, like, screaming to go back to is Oppenheimer.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
oh,
It's
man,
it's just
yeah.
so good. It's unfair. It's too good, man. I think that like and it's because of him. You know, we referenced that the paradoxical scene earlier. How can it
Mhm,
be both? It can't, but it is. It's paradoxical, but it works. Like the delivery of that whole sequence is impassioned
mhm.
and
Yeah,
bright and cunning, like that. It's just he is becoming that person, you know, and it's so fucking well done. I can't even begin
Mhm.
to fathom how lucky we are that we exist at the same
Mhm.
time that movie does, you know, and
I
at the same time Cillian Murphy got to act in it.
I
Um,
believe we did. Just it's so just every line delivery he has is almost like the amount of TikTok edits that have come out,
like,
like it's
if there was
just
gonna be another supporting nod I would have given in this movie, it would have been Jason Clarke, the, prosecutor, or not a
ooh,
prosecutor, it's not a court, but
yeah.
he's like, "Make up your mind,
Mm,
Robert," you know, like that whole thing, and the way he presses him and the way Killian gets to push back, but with
mhm.
that, like, jaded, like,
Oh,
I I
man.
I I don't like, the panic that he is able to put on,
Mhm.
"I feel like I have blood on my hands."
Yeah, and that's getting that camera, I mean, right smack dab in the face of Cillian Murphy, that's I don't know, I saw, like, some behind the scenes of how, like, just how close the camera is to his face at some points, and that's, like that is kinda crazy to have to act with
You are just acting with
an
that in your fucking
IMAX
face.
camera in your face, which is I mean, like, I don't know, it's
The fact that
insane.
you can tap into real emotion in that scenario is fucking insane, you know, because like, I had the thought when I was watching, like, behind the scenes for, like, the Grand Budapest Hotel, and it's, like, Tony Revolori and Ralph Fiennes walking down a hall with the camera directly in front of them, just they're talking to each other, and the camera's rolling in front of them, and it's not that intense of a scene, but it's still
Mhm.
like, god damn, like, you were just standing in front of a camera, walking towards it as it constantly rolls away, and you were like, that's all you're doing.
Mm.
It's not the fact that you can do that with such real fucking feeling like Killian does
Yeah, like
as Oppenheimer is
we are just
astounding.
recording a podcast, and just this little webcam that I have looking at me is enough for me to be like, I am on camera.
Yeah,
I don't know, there's this weird
people are
feeling.
watching me.
But there's a massive, like, 100-pound camera that's being, like, hoisted on a massive camera arm, like, all these microphone, boom arm, all this, set people that are behind it's like, "What the fu like, how do they do this as their job?" And then you see Killian in interviews, and he seems like he doesn't even care. He's like, "Yeah, I don't know, if the script's good,
Just my job.
yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know, if a good script, that's all I care." Like,
crazy Orlando.
but man, yeah, we are feasting, that's for sure. The big dogs, the actor and actress, it was pretty clear,
It
who
was.
the
It
winners were
was.
gonna be. Um,
But, ahead of Best Director and Best Picture, let's, uh let's go back through and kind of,
mhm,
reiterate those winners here. For Best Score, we gave it to Michael Levy for The Zone of Interest. Best Cinematography, Robert Yeoman for Asteroid City. Best Supporting Actress, a co-winner with
mhm,
Divine Joy Randolph in The Holdovers and Penelope Cruz in Ferrari. Best Supporting Actor, Robert Downey Jr. in Oppenheimer. Best Adapted Screenplay, American Fiction by Cord Jefferson. Best Original Screenplay, Past Lives by Celine Song. Best Actress, Lily Gladstone in Killers of the Flower Moon. And Best Actor, Cillian Murphy in Oppenheimer. With that, we can kind of boogie on in to our final two categories.
oof,
A wardrobe change. It's getting hot. Had to
yeah,
switch it up. 2 hours and 20 minutes
mhm,
straight of rocking a cardigan and a jacket
yeah,
in not cold rooms. So
yeah, I
sorry,
can say
but now it's ti now it's
The Dumb and Dumber suit coat, very, very thick coat as well, not the warmest or not the coolest, clothing item either, so yeah, very nice wardrobe change, but
gonna air it out a bit.
yeah, but we continue
We
nonetheless.
continue. We digress into the best directors
Oh,
category of our 2023 Penny Bloom Film Awards. And the nominees are
God.
Celine Song, Past Lives, Christopher Nolan, Oppenheimer, Jonathan Glazer, The Zone of Interest, Justine Triet, Anatomy of a Fall, Martin Scorsese, Killers of the Flower Moon, Michael Mann, Ferrari, and Wes Anderson, Asteroid City.
Man, how
Yeah, this is probably the most stacked category. The only one missing here, and we decided, like, I kind of made the executive decision to not include it since you had not watched it,
mhm,
was Yorgos Lanthimos' Poor Things.
dang.
Um,
Does he deserve
he
it
would have
though?
been here if
Yeah,
we'd both seen it. There's so
okay.
many movies that we've both watched that we both loved, so that just kind of gave us an easy out. You
Mm,
know, you haven't seen it, we'll exclude it. Yorgos Lanthimos, though, for me, was absolutely one of the top 5 directors of the year with
and
Poor Things. So
and
just wanted
we
to clarify that off the top.
and we got
Um,
we got 4, we do have 7 here, so we're adding a little bit of noms to the list, but we got 4 out of
mm,
7 here that we've had
we
spotlights
do.
on as well, that we've covered. So that is kind of cool that
Yeah,
we've had,
Nolan,
um
Marty,
Michael
Michael
Mann
Mann,
and Wes
and Wes.
Anderson. So
Yeah,
kind of cool that we got some of our director boys up in here. Sorry, Greta. I don't know. I think it's just Barbie isn't quite the. I don't know. I don't think actually like it's just a different movie. It's a hard movie to compare to all the rest of these. It's not like she did a terrible job directing. She did a phenomenal
oh, no.
job. She
In
probably made
fact,
it.
the direction is probably the strongest part of that
Yeah,
movie.
it was probably a blast to work on that movie, and everyone loved her so much. Like they even gave her birthday presents where they sing to her, and it's like I
Mhm.
don't know, it's really cool. So I don't think it's
I
that,
mean,
but
we also don't get Fincher in here.
mm-hmm,
No David Fincher.
that's true.
Um, a
Yeah,
few other, let's see, are there any other notables? Um, just Yorgos, Fincher, and Greta, I think. I got a few of my favorites here though are the or Celine song. I loved Past Lives. I've made
mm-hmm,
that perfectly clear um, through our discussions of
yeah.
the other nominees. Already won our best original screenplay. We already gave Celine Song an award, um, and
Dude,
for a directorial debut, pretty incredible.
okay, whoa, that's insane. Just to think like the performances are probably a large part of it, but in order to sit there and be like, okay, we're at this stage in your life now. You need to act this way. You need to, you have
Mhm.
these things that you say to each other that are the I don't know, like that's I don't know, that is very crazy that this is a debut. I had no I don't think I knew that
Yeah,
before.
the only
But
debut amidst our
whew,
nominees.
okay.
Everyone else
Um
rather seasoned in the
yeah. Yeah.
directorial seat.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. Yeah, with Nolan, we're sitting with a dude who doesn't really need any introduction there. I love that we're seeing our boy Wes Anderson in
have
here.
to.
We had to include
The
him in here,
the
obviously.
Academy takes Wes Anderson
Um,
for granted. The fact that
mhm.
Grand Budapest Hotel was an anomaly in getting critical acclaim and not like a welcome to the club. We're
Mhm.
gonna start respecting your work and admiring it every year after year. And like that's insane to me. And this movie more than like the French Dispatch. I personally love the French Dispatch, so it's like, but I see why since Grand Budapest
Mm.
he hasn't seen a ton of critical acclaim. He got nominated for Best Animated Film for Isle of Dogs, um, but other than that,
I don't see how
nothing.
Asteroid City just didn't get
Anything,
I don't know.
anything,
And
man.
maybe we had a lot
Don't
of
get me
hype.
wrong.
We
I
had
don't
a
think he would
lot of
fit
hype
into
around
this.
him, but
I don't think he
um
would fit into this Academy Award 5.
mm.
The like that's the
Oh,
thing is that
okay.
whenever we're talking about directorial snubs for the Academy Awards, it's like, yeah, who would you knock out though?
That's fair.
We're talking Marty, we're talking Nolan, Yorgos Lanthimos, Jonathan Glazer, and Justine Triet. Justine Triet's the other
Oh,
one,
wow.
Anatomy.
Okay, so we do have
Um,
all of them here.
oh, yes, we
It
have
is
we
just
have all of them except Yorgos. We didn't
okay.
we didn't do Yorgos.
Mhm.
Um,
Mm.
so yeah, we have all four, and it was funny by the end of it. Whenever we created our own little separate nominees lists,
Mhm.
me and Joseph, and we rattled them all out. We decided to combine them and everything. I hadn't been paying attention to the nominees list for the actual Oscars, and I watched all the movies I wanted to watch. I got everything I wanted. By the end of it, my 5 directors. were the same 5 directors as they'd nominated at the Oscars. And I was like, okay, well, you know what? I can't really complain about
Hmm.
the snubs here because this is what I think
Yeah.
fits.
Maybe they were onto something here, or maybe it's just kinda
It's a good
the
fucking year,
way it is
man.
this year. Yeah.
Crazy year.
Got some big hitters,
From the
so
director's chair. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, our inclusion of Michael Mann, I love Michael Mann and I loved Ferrari. So I was very
Mhm.
happy with that. Um,
I do like seeing that. Yeah, and I think he would like seeing it too. I feel like he had a joy making this movie. That's why I feel like he is in it somewhere. You know, I feel like I don't know. He's never been remotely close like to ever being in any of his other movies. But like this one, I feel like he did. Like, there's a
he
bunch of old
bounced off
people
somewhere.
somewhere, and like yeah, like maybe watching the race of like an extra or someone out there. But I do like to see Michael Mann up there. It was a treat, but won't
Yeah.
necessarily get the win here. That's
No, not
for
today.
sure.
Not
But
today. There's too many good movies and
hmm
too many fantastic direction directors exhibits. When I watched Jonathan Glazer's The Zone of Interest, that was kind of an instant for
Ooh.
me, like, okay, yep, that's going to be a director.
hmm
Um, he's only directed in a 23-year career 4 movies.
Wow,
4
he's
movies. And I had the pleasure of watching one of them um just uh just a couple weeks back. It was called Sexy Beast, which I didn't know what I was getting into necessarily. Um,
okay.
Great fucking heist film. Sir Ben Kingsley, love that
hmm
man. Ray, oh, what's his name? I always want to say Ray Stevenson, and then I know it's not Ray Stevenson. Ray Winstone.
Okay.
He was in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull and The Departed and all sorts of good shit. But
Well,
yeah, they're the 2 leads in Sexy Beast, and it's a trip, to go from that to The Zone
zone
of
of
Interest,
interest. Yeah,
was a
sounds like a big
bizarre
switch up.
switch up.
Yeah.
Ian McShane's in that movie, so it was just like all sorts of stuff where I was like, "Holy shit!" Um, the capabilities within this man's
hmm
grasp are um, insurmountable.
He's got
It's a lot.
range.
Yeah,
He's got
yeah.
range. It seems. But yeah, no, this one. I mean, Zone of Interest was. I'm glad. I had a triple viewing that day that I saw Zone of Interest, and you recommended that I start the day with Zone of Interest and then work my way to the lighter material. And I'm very glad I did that. I'm very very glad. And
Always
it's.
always a double-edged sword with double or triple features.
hmm
You know, I I I want to save the lightest I can for last, but I also want to save the best for last.
Ah,
What's going to stick with me the most?
yeah.
So it always just depends on how intense the material is or just how good the material is. And with your triple feature including The Zone of Interest, Anatomy of a Fall, and American Fiction, that was the order I was going to
The
tell you
line
to
of
watch.
progression worked very well. It
Yeah.
was yeah. We started at the absolute. I mean, I don't know how much lower you can get. Like, actually, kind of thinking about it now.
Just existentially hopeless cinema.
As far as human history goes, that's about as bad as it
That's
gets.
a rough one. That's a
Um,
terrible fucking thing.
and then moving on, it was like, ooh, very interesting moral dilemmas here. You look at this very cool movie, very interesting
Yeah.
situation these two have found themselves in, um, and then I'm just
And
having a
that's again
blast.
Justine
Yeah.
Triet. That like I
Yes,
think
that
what's
was.
cool about our slate here of directors, Celine Song, Wes Anderson, Marty, Chris, Mann, Glazer, and Triet. They all wrote the movie they directed.
Mm,
Uh,
that
which
probably makes sense. You know, if you're that much more into it, it makes that much more sense that you'd better direct the characters and actors
mm,
and everything. And I don't know. I don't think that's a coincidence. That seems I don't maybe not a necessity, but
No, far from it. It's not a necessity, but I think that when you have a vision of what you want to create and you have full control over said vision from
mhm,
the writer's room to the directorial chair, it can, I mean, like, that's how you get hyper stylized stuff like Wes Anderson. That's how you get like Martin Scorsese. This was the first time he'd gotten a credit for a script since like 20 years ago. Like, he hasn't been credited with writing one of his movies in so long, and
mm,
there's something about Killers of the Flower Moon that seems like his appearance at the end is the most personal appearance he's ever made in one of his movies. It's the most transparent, it's the most honest and
mhm,
self-evaluating, and I think that him being in the writer's room and getting a credit for writing it. Now, obviously, when it comes to a Martin Scorsese movie, he might not have penned the script, but
mhm.
we're on set. He's gone, maybe we say, well, maybe we do something like this. Like, maybe we do that.
It's
So
his
like
mind
there's a
behind
different
the
level
project,
to
yeah.
it. But like him taking responsibility over the story almost. And it was him and Eric Roth, and they also worked together on I believe Eric Roth did,
Eric
was it Gangs of New York? I
Roth,
feel like it was.
R-O-T-H? Uh, let's
Ah,
see.
no, that's Jay Cox I'm thinking of.
Mm. Looks like he's known for Dune, The Insider. The Insider would be
The
his
Insider, yes.
his Marty one, or is that? Yeah, that's Marty. Um,
Insider's Man.
that's who he has. It didn't feel right. I'm like, that's a Spotlight movie, but no. Okay, thank
Yeah.
that makes more
No,
sense.
this was his first Marty, but
Mm,
that's where I was thinking was that he also worked with Michael Mann.
mm,
I thought it was a director spotlight movie, so that's
okay.
what it was. But still, incredible writer to have
Mm-hmm.
done Dune, uh,
Forrest Gump as
The
well.
Inside,
Um,
Forrest Gump,
and
and
Killers.
this.
He's doing
Uh,
yeah, doing
yeah,
well.
it's a
Uh,
good team. It's a good teammate to have there. So I loved that effort from Marty and Chris Nolan. Obviously, he even wrote the Oppenheimer script in the first person,
mm,
referred to Oppenheimer as I.
wow.
Uh,
Yeah, gave Killian the full here you go. Here's
mm,
just go, man. Like just
we
here
are
we are
fucking.
yeah, we're
That's my favorite line
we
from.
all
Let's see if I.
caps. All caps. We are
We are
what does
fucking.
the caps signify? You know?
He's emphasizing just how
So
much.
he's he's nice with it. Is it implying that he's
I think it was implying a
good?
certain intensity.
Oh, okay.
Um,
So not necessarily um that he's just a an app like I'm not trying to compare him to Podrick, over here
no,
from Game
no,
of
no,
Thrones,
nothing to that
um
extent. I don't think.
but man, that's just a statement to make, That's you got to be into it. Um got it. Bam.
I don't know.
We wait. Is it up at the top?
Right there.
Oh, we are fucking. Yeah, all caps. Man, and it yes, it is. That is crazy.
We are fucking hot, sweaty, a little brutal. Tatlock gives up, climbs off me. Wait, wait, Oppenheimer says. I catch my breath, watching her study my shelves. Just
Okay, Chris. Okay, getting a little hot and steamy there for a second.
a little
Wow.
brutal. I like that, like,
Oh yeah, that was interesting to throw in there. A little brutal,
right
and
there.
she gave up.
She gave up,
She
climbs off of
gave
him,
up.
climbs off me.
She
Yeah,
g-
no, Chris Nolan,
maybe
a little personal in the Oppenheimer game here.
maybe Oppenheimer actually does. I mean, she gave up. Anyway, Chris Nolan to
Broken
write
Nolan.
that's hilarious to know.
Well, and I mean, like, nobody else could have directed that movie, the way he did, and I
mm,
think that's something that's so deeply important about this year and this directorial slate is Celine Song had to direct Past Lives. Chris Nolan had to direct Oppenheimer. Scorsese had to direct
mm,
Flower Moon. Wes had to direct Asteroid City. Like, there are certain thresholds that like nobody else was going to be
Yeah.
able to do that story justice. And I feel like they
I think that's a
the
credit.
deeply personal cinema.
Yeah.
I love it.
You're
I love it.
crediting how good they are. I think
Mhm.
that's probably the best compliment you can give a director is that like you're the only person I see making this movie. You know, like there's no way someone else could come in and make this movie. You're the only one. It's so unique. And I don't know. I think that is probably how you weigh this winner, like how to choose a winner of the best director is
Certainly,
who,
certainly helps.
yeah,
You
who
know, I think
was the most personal, the most like, I don't
the
know.
person to and that's what's interesting is I think our winner who we ultimately decide on, um, is actually like the story very well could have been told
Mm,
by someone else, but the way that he did tell it is the only way he could have told it, you know, and it's fascinating. So, our winner for the 2023 Best Director is Martin Scorsese for Killers of the Flower Moon.
that man.
Um,
We love that man.
it's oh, we
Um,
love that man. That's the cinema.
mhm.
That is cinema to me, you know?
He is cinema.
He is cinema
He's
to
just
me.
still another little guy too, you know.
Just another
I
little
love just seeing him just little, not run, but a little speed walk on the red carpet.
little
You
walk.
know, little his little. Oh my gosh, I just want, out of all the directors, I just want to hug Marty the most. I don't know. I feel like who would I want to meet the most? Probably Wes. But who would I want to just give a hug? That's Marty.
I
You
that's an
know.
interesting I think, funny enough, I came into this to 2023 not anti Chris Nolan,
Mm-hmm.
but
Sort of.
indifferent,
Yeah.
indifferent. I
Not
didn't
on
care,
the
you
hype
know?
train for sure. You
Yeah, I
were,
wasn't on the hype train. I
yeah.
didn't actively dislike him. I liked a lot
Mhm.
of his movies. I was just like, "What's the deal? Why is this the guy everyone's like, 'Oh my god, have you seen it? Have you seen what he is capable of?'"
Mhm.
And then Oppenheimer happened, and, you know, it was just kind of like, "Oh, wait a second." Then I'm going back and watching Tenet. I'm going back and watching Dunkirk. I'm going back and watching this. I'm watching that. I'm watching this. I'm watching that. And I'm like, "You know what? The dude who I would want to hang out with the most in Hollywood, period, is probably Chris Nolan."
He's got a
Uh,
brain, man. I don't know. Like his
yeah.
he
And he's
he
also just a guy. He's just some
he's
dude. It's
I
incredible.
think his movies, unlike any other selection, his get better over time. Like always, almost. You notice so many more things the more you watch it, and the more connections you can make. And it's like, I don't know. I swear this dude's connection with time is unlike any others that,
Mm.
like, with any director. But he also has Jonathan Nolan as a ghostwriter at his
Yeah,
helm as well for most of this stuff. So it's like, I don't know.
helps,
I think that does help
helps,
as
yeah.
well.
But,
They're like a crazy duo.
there's
So
there's rumors and they're unsubstantiated as of yet, and I could see them being true, but Imma hold off until we know for sure, of The Killers of the Flower Moon getting a rewrite from Paul Thomas Anderson, director and writer of There Will Be Blood and, Boogie Nights and Magnolia and The Master and just a bunch of great, great movies. Um,
hmm,
which would be interesting. It'd be interesting, and not a rewrite, but a, you know, cleaning up of the script. Paul Thomas Anderson is getting rumored to have been involved in that for Killers of the Flower Moon, which I mean, just in terms of the way it is written, I mean, I could see that, especially when you compare it to something like There Will Be Blood, but, till they're substantiated, I'm not gonna act like he wrote it or anything, so,
hmm,
Imma give the credit to Marty. Imma give Marty his credit. That's one of my
yeah.
favorite movies of the year. I absolutely adored it. I think that if there is anybody who can tell a story so important and so grand and so blunt and devastating and intimate and
Ooh,
guilt-ridden and like, just sad. Marty. Marty's the
maybe
guy, you know?
maybe an actor nomination that we snubbed. Leo
Marty.
here. Actually true. I went once.
Marty.
Yeah. I didn't take the full leap.
No,
Um,
Leo occurred to me. He was one of my top 5, for best lead actor. Um, and frankly, this is the one that I will take blame for, taking granted a little bit, you know? I think the Academy
yeah.
takes Wes Anderson
Maybe.
for granted. I think they also take Leo for granted. The fact
Yeah.
that we didn't nominate him or that the Academy didn't nominate
Dang.
him is
He
kind of
really
insane.
is
It
just
is
that good,
respectable.
maybe. Maybe
Yeah.
he's just that good, where it's just expected from him now. But, like,
I was making a letterbox list the other day that was, like, my favorite best director nominees ever, like, for each movie
hmm,
that I love. Marty has been nominated for best director for The Last Temptation of Christ, Goodfellas, um, Wolf of Wall Street, this I think, a few others, a couple others. He only ever won for Departed,
The Departed?
The
I mean,
Departed.
I
I
don't
mean, it's a great
know.
movie.
Yeah, it
It's a
is.
great
It
movie,
is
but,
good.
like,
I don't
I'm
feel like
trying to
that's
remember
his that shouldn't be his,
it's
like,
definitely not the
his
crème de la
magnum
crop.
opus. Yeah, if anything's its magnum opus, I feel like it's either Irishman or this. I feel like I don't know, Killers just felt so personal that, like, I don't know what I would call his magnum opus. I feel like
I
he's
mean, the
always
run he's
evolved.
on,
Yeah.
the fact that the last 4 films he's made since he's been 70,
Mhm.
The Wolf of Wall Street, Silence, which I have not had the pleasure of watching yet, but Adam Driver, Andrew Garfield, Liam Neeson, I've heard it's incredible. Um,
Mhm.
The Irishman, and now Killers of the Flower Moon. To do that run when you are past your prime, but you are now re-entering your prime post 70
Yeah.
is fucking
How
crazy.
does like direct how can you be past your prime in directing just by age? Like how much of the job really requires youth, you know? Like it's really the brain like that
It
at the end of the day
Well,
in
and
Marty's.
that's what's fascinating is watching the way that his films have evolved and, like, the tone and the feel and just all of that, you know, when
Mm,
you look back to After Hours and King of Comedy and Goodfellas, there's an energy, a a just a I don't know, it feels like someone
mhm.
did cocaine and started making a movie,
Definitely.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Which neither here nor there, Marty definitely did some cocaine back in the day, but,
Didn't
um
everybody back then, you know?
yeah,
It was
basically,
in Coca-Cola,
um
so
exactly. So,
yeah.
yeah, pretty much everybody, but the post Shutter Island Scorsese with The Wolf of Wall Street, Irishman, Killers of the Flower Moon, there's still that intensity, there's still that pace, but it comes from a more, I don't know, observable distance almost that is somehow more intimate
Hmm.
and isn't so just I don't know, and that's the thing is it's all good. He's never made a movie that I've watched and gone, "Ah, I didn't love that." Like maybe Boxcar Bertha, but that was like his 2nd movie, and it was,
Boxcar Bertha.
an
Hmm.
exploitation film, so, like, it's like, but regardless, he's just had such a storied career, and I fucking love the man, so, I would have been remiss if we didn't give him Best Director for Killers of the Flower Moon.
Oh, he deserves it. Yes, everyone in this nomination list did phenomenal, but
Mm.
we took an extra liking to our boy Marty
Gotta
this
love
year.
Marty. Gotta love Marty. But with that, we will enter our 10th and final category Best Picture.
Mm-hmm.
The nominees are
Cool.
American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Asteroid City, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, May December, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest, which grants us quite the overlap with the Academy. I believe we only have um, two here that were not actually nominated for Best Picture.
Okay.
We replaced Maestro and Barbie with
Mhm.
Asteroid City and May December.
That feels a lot better
Uh,
to me.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me
I wonder. Yeah.
too.
Well, I guess we did make this nomination list, so that makes sense why it feels better to me.
No, that's why it feels better to us,
Yeah.
is because we decided.
Mhm. We did decide these 10 movies here, but man, no, what a like my top 10 was filled with Guardians of the Galaxy and Blue Beetle and like all these other movies that I'm like, I liked them. They were very fun, but they didn't feel like best pictures. I was very scared about a month ago whenever we're like, yeah, let's do this, and I'm like, eesh, my portfolio not looking good. But
Yeah.
these last couple weeks have been just
And
an
now we're
absolute
here, and the only one
delight.
you missed was Poor Things.
And yeah,
Uh,
that one
we're
really
doing pretty
pisses
good.
me off still. But
Yeah. I
the
mean, we're still
things,
we're still looking at American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, May, December,
mhm,
Past Lives in the Zone of Interest, all within the last couple weeks.
mm,
Um,
man, I've been having a blast. These movies are incredible. Like all of them are good. They're in the best picture category. So yes, like this is usually like I feel like these are the movies that get you to be like, oh, like I'm watching a film like right
I'm
now.
watching a
Like
good fucking movie.
yeah, and it's like obvious while watching the movie. You don't even need to finish the movie in order to get that
Right.
yet. And I feel like all of these have that. Um, and yeah, I don't. Yeah, where do we even begin here? I don't even know where to dive in.
Let's run down alphabetical order. Okay. And a lot of these we've already
Mm-hmm.
talked quite a bit about several of them.
True.
In fact, I believe we've talked quite a bit about
Probably
all of
all
them.
of them by now.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, none of them were excluded from other categories, so they all have gotten mentioned. Um, but it'd be funny if the best picture, if like one random best picture snuck in
Yeah.
there and didn't get a single nomination for anything else. You
Yeah.
know,
I'd say usually it comes with other nominations. That's
they usually
probably
did.
prob- probably a
They did.
better thing as well.
Uh,
Would be strange.
but
I
we'll
don't know
start at
what
the
kind
top.
of movie that would be. But
I mean, it doesn't exist.
yeah.
Those don't exist. It's just not possible. If it got Best Picture, it's because a lot of the stuff about the movie was the best. You know. Um,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but
And
American Fiction, we gave it adapted screenplay a little bit ago. Um, Jeffrey Wright is fucking golden. We threw him a nom. We got
mm-hmm.
Sterling K. Brown a nom and Best Supporting
Mm-hmm.
Actor.
Oh
There's
yeah.
just so much to enjoy about the film. It's so there's a you mentioned earlier that you didn't know what you were getting into. You thought you did. You had an idea. And then all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, this is going to be much much sadder than I thought."
Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it still manages to balance that tone, that comedy with that drama and blend it to a point where for me it never struggles. Like
Hmm.
there's no tone switch where I'm like, "Ah, that was abrupt. It didn't feel right." It's just everything feels so right. Everything feels so natural and
Yeah.
easy and good. And I mean, like Jeffrey Wright's partially to thank there, but Cord Jefferson, another first time director.
Oh my
Um,
God.
yeah,
Man. Okay. This is a great year for the
mm,
rookies. Rookie of the year. I don't know. Maybe that's a category that we should
that's a the
throw down here.
best
But
up and comer.
yeah.
Yeah, we
But
got Dominic Sessa, Celine Song, and Cord Jefferson all in their
whew.
first movies.
Okay.
Um,
But yeah, a weird comparison for American fiction. I was gonna say it's kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy in the sense that like every character has a very meaningful story to them, and it's
Journey.
it's not just to further one person. It is they all have their own lives, and it seems very real that like these things could
Mhm.
happen. A lot of unfortunate things happen, but it's all in a very short span of time. But it's all like very real. It's just very real life stuff that's going on and yeah, I mean it's every kind of emotion. You're laughing, you're crying, you're smiling, I just every which way. It's an amazing roller coaster and also a very good meta sense of what's going on in the entertainment scene um currently right now. I really thought initially that they were going to go down the path of we recognize that we can put out bad stuff, but just make it super black so that it just gets out and we get the money. So let's just get our bag and just rake in money. I thought that's where it was going to go.
Right.
But oh boy, was I wrong. Yeah, it was. Um,
No, it's fascinating. It's it's
mhm,
it's such an interesting commentary on, I mean, white guilt
mhm,
and specifically in the entertainment industry, and how far white folks are willing to go to be like to almost ignore any generally respectful sensibility.
mhm.
Um,
Fuck.
like
I want to call it
blows my
fuck.
mind. There was a I want to call it fuck, and
God.
not to get too political here. Did you see Trump's speech in South Carolina the other night?
Oh God. No, I did not. Stay away from
He
these
was
things
trying to he's
usually.
trying to he's trying to get the black vote.
Oh,
He's
what did he
trying to get it
do?
trying to get a little the people, the black people, they're loving me, you know? They're loving me. Ever since I got locked up.
Not a good angle. Not a good
They face
angle.
discrimination, they face these hardships, and you know what? I faced them too.
Shut the fuck up,
God, that
dog.
dude's a fucking idiot.
Yeah, that's
What a fucking moron, man. Uh,
it
I
is.
can't stand the motherfucker. It blows my mind.
We're at a
But,
party.
like, that's
Oh no, I was just gonna. We're at a party. You have one friend that's the drunkest motherfucker you ever seen. There's another friend that's the
okay.
highest motherfucker you've ever seen. And then you say, "All right, which one of you is driving me home?" That's the current
Yeah,
vote that we have, and
yeah.
it's gonna be a blast whenever we get there. But anyway,
Can't wait. But yeah, no, like, but that's
reining
that's
it
a
back
really good
in.
example of
Uh,
something that could have been parody, that could have been in a movie like American Fiction,
mm.
and it happened in real life, which all of a sudden recontextualizes what you think of as parody in American Fiction, and you
Yes,
go, "Oh, wait, that's just real. That's
things
just
that
what life
seem
is." And it's
extreme in the movie that you're like, "Oh, that would obviously never happen in real life that way,"
but then it does,
and then you
and you get
turn
shit
on the
like that.
news, yeah,
Uh,
so
yeah,
very,
so, like, that's
very,
that's the kind
very
of stuff that's
aware, not very in
yeah,
the now. The people who are making it are not out of touch, very in
no,
touch with the world. It was very,
yeah.
very nice, but
Finger on the pulse type
mhm,
shit. Love me some Jeffrey Wright too. So any movie with Jeffrey Wright's automatically gonna get a little love from me, and he's in two of our
mm,
Academy or two of our Penny Bloom Film Award
chapter
Best
1.
Picture nominees.
That's right.
Yes,
Um,
Asteroid City. We've already spoke on it quite a bit. Between the two of us, we've watched this movie. I think 16 times. I think I've watched it 9 times now. I think I said
hmm,
8 earlier, but
I think I'm at
I think I've
7.
watched it 9
I'm pretty
times.
certain. So
So yeah, big love for this film. Um, it's become one of those movies where anytime I feel down, whether it's literally under the weather or
mm,
depressive, I'm like, this, it's gotten interesting. I didn't think it would be like this, but I'm like, anytime I'm like, I kind of feel like watching a Wes Anderson movie. I wanna watch Asteroid City, and it's not real like,
it's
nothing else
weird.
will really scratch the itch
Yeah.
until I watch Asteroid City. Um,
You need to come back to it. It's like the man has such a way with I don't know, they're so different
Last
than anything
train
else.
to San Fernando.
Maybe a score that
Oh, dude, I mean, the
blipped under
Alexander
the
Desplat,
radar.
the little twinkly, um,
Ding ding ding
like,
ding ding ding. Yeah,
whenever
the
he is giving the
ding ding ding.
chapter 1, the
Mm.
ding, 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 ding. I played that into the fucking ground,
Mhm.
back in June, July, August of
Yeah.
2023.
Mhm. Yeah, very.
Absolutely adore that score. It's only 6 tracks, and they have a lot of the same motifs pretty much the whole time,
Yes.
so I was
Yeah.
like, "There's some other score nods that could deserve it," but in terms of casual listening,
Mhm.
Asteroid City is the one I come back to the second most behind, Past Lives here. Um,
There it
Fucking
is.
love this one, though.
Yeah.
You gotta check this one out.
Mhm. Yeah.
But, yeah, no, Asteroid City, fucking love it. Um, love Jeff Goldblum as the alien. Uh
Yeah.
I play him as a metaphor. Metaphor for what? I'm not sure. We don't really like to pin it down. Um,
It's not real. It hasn't landed. it's
It's not on the
fugazi.
elemental chart.
Yeah, it's fugazi. It's fugazi. Uh,
It's a
love
wazi,
that.
it's a woozy. No, like, and that whole sequence where he walks behind when he walks backstage and he sits down with Adrian Brody and he goes, "Am I doing it right?" Like, just
Mm,
I will never forget sitting in that theater just feeling so deeply, and whenever he gets to, do I just keep doing it? Even though it's
mhm,
like, do I he's like, "Yes,"
mhm.
you know? Just keep telling the story. It's fucking brilliant, and it feels like Wes Anderson's one of his most personal films yet, and it's just God, I love it. I love it so much. So, I
Ah,
gotta give Asteroid City some love here. Not the winner, but a contender, and I
mhm,
had to get it in here. Let's see, Anatomy of a Fall. We've already discussed that quite a bit. The
mhm.
ethics, philosophy of it all. We had a nice lengthy conversation,
Yeah, we did.
about Anatomy of a Fall. And it's fascinating because the moral ambiguity and the literal ambiguity they put on screen in terms of did she do it, did she not? Um, I don't fucking know, man. I don't know.
I don't know. I do not know where I stand. I'm like, on one hand, I'm like, I want it to be all good and that they're just gonna live happily ever after. But like, there's part of me that's like, I don't think we're done here. Like I think there's still more work to be done. I think they
Mhm.
ended the case a little early. They even said that it was supposed to go for 2 more days or something like that, and that one thing did kind of end it. So maybe that is more clear of what the answer is, but I don't know. Um, I think that's very a perfect way to treat the movie because it's only going to get people to talk about it more. It's only going to like spur more word of mouth and I don't know. I it'd be really cool to like see this at the very beginning when it was coming out, see what people were talking about and like how um if people at
Well, and
the end were
that's what's interesting is that it's not just I wasn't really anybody talking about Anatomy of a Fall when it came
mm,
out, because it came out at different points for everybody. Because it's an international film
that's
and
true.
everybody kinda getting it in different doses, and, I remember when it released at Cannes, and Justine Triet won the Palme d'Or, the Best Director award at Cannes, um, or maybe it's Best Film, I'm pretty sure it's a director-specific award, but, um I remember being like, "Oh, I cannot fucking wait until I can watch that," because and when I finally got a chance to just a few months back, and what is it, 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 20 minutes or
Eh,
something like that?
around there, I
It
think so.
fucking
Mhm.
flies.
You're just
It
in.
fucking
Yeah, you're
flies, dude.
in. Like you are I don't know, I was so focused. I didn't wanna let any detail pass because I'm like I felt like I needed to gather every detail. I needed to know everything to make my own accusations, or my own
Come to your own conclusions.
exactly. And yeah, it was man, a very I don't know how much it warrants like a rewatch. I think a rewatch could be cool now that I know where it ends. I think maybe I'll notice different things. Actually, a rewatch could be very interesting now that I think about it.
Could be illuminating. Yeah, I
Mhm.
haven't I haven't that was the other
But
one. I was thinking about watching Maestro a little bit when I got done with it, and I was thinking about watching Anatomy of a Fall. Those were the 2 that I was like,
mm,
I think that I would like to revisit those. I didn't end up revisiting either because I had a couple left I needed to get in, and I'm thankful I did. We got one of them snuck into a nom a little bit ago with Andrew Scott and All of Us Strangers,
there we go.
but, and The Color Purple with Danielle Brooks, but,
But yeah, incredible
yeah, I
thinker
mean, that
of a
movie was fucking
movie.
brilliant.
Yeah, the thinker. I like a good thinker movie, one that gets
Very
you gets you thinking.
contemplative.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. But Anatomy of a Fall, another great one. The Holdovers kind of said most of what we need to say. It's basically
Whew.
writing and performances were astonishing. It just won best cinematography the other night at the Indie Spirit Film Awards, which is nothing
Sure.
to scoff at.
Um,
I mean, it's a pretty movie. It's a pretty movie, you know?
mhm,
It's subtle like it is with pretty much everything else, but it's intimate. Like, the staging of the shot whenever they're sitting in that room, um,
hmm,
early on break, and Paul Giamatti's sitting next to, Divine Joy Randolph, and Dominic Sessa's in the background, and they're layered where they're,
yeah,
like, in a diagonal line, but
uh-huh.
they're all in the same level on the screen, like, it it it's it's good work, you know, like, it's impressive, it's
Wow. I guess that's kind of a different kind of cinematography that I don't pay attention to because when it's obvious and apparent, like Zone of Interest or Asteroid City, where it's like clear that it is beautifully set up and like I don't know, but a movie like The Holdovers where it's sort of to blend in, like more to not make it so obvious, but to just make it look good, and maybe it is just so good that it blends. It just I don't know, like it doesn't stick out because it is so good. I'm curious if I rewatch it, if like I'll notice that now. Like I guess the blocking would probably be the most important thing with that movie.
yeah,
Like,
no, I mean, like, the part when they go to the, bookstore on the side of the road, and they
mm,
approach it, and it's, like, the shot of the books there, and, like, it just, like, there's a lot of really aesthetically small moments that are just
mm-hmm,
really satisfying, um, and I appreciate it. I mean, like, even that shot when I talked about the moment with Paul Giamatti, where the woman goes and hugs her, like, not ex, but maybe ex, and they're
mm,
in the background hugging, and he's just sitting there, and he's like, and you can see them back there still, and it's just like,
yeah,
this is what's lingering over his shoulder. This is what he's been dealing with. Like, it's just
hmm,
I
okay.
love it. I love it. It's a fantastic film, and it's a special thing when you're watching a movie and knowing for a fact you will watch it every year for the rest of your
Oh, it's a
life.
Christmas movie for sure. I
Yeah.
mean, 100%. And not even probably just a Christmas movie. Like that's just
No, you can
like
watch that anytime,
yeah.
but that's the thing is even if you hadn't watched it at any other point in the year, come December, you're gonna throw on The Holdovers. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I mean that for every year for the rest of my life. I don't know that I can guarantee that about any of the other movies. You know? I don't know that I can guarantee that. I think I can comfortably guarantee it about The Holdovers, and that's crazy. That's crazy. So I had to give it some love there. Um,
Yeah. Okay.
but yeah, man, special fucking movie. They're all special fucking movies. We talked about Killers of the Flower Moon, just won Best Director, one
Mhm.
Best Actress,
Mhm.
um, threw it a nom in Best Score, uh,
Killers
our
of the
biggest snub in Best
cinematography.
Actor.
I got
Yep.
cinematography, got adapted screenplay,
Yeah.
um, and De Niro.
Probably
Um,
probably the prettiest Marty movie for my money.
ooh.
Just in terms of how good looking a filmmaker he is. Um, both, I mean that both ways. Good looking a filmmaker and the films he makes are good looking. Um,
And he's a
but
good-looking man.
it's a swell looking guy. It's a
Yeah.
swell looking guy. But it's just for such a storied career to culminate in this. i- It's not a send off, but it feels like it is.
I
It's
know.
bizarre. It
Why does
feels
it
like a
feel
last
why
appearance.
does he feel like he's saying goodbye? I didn't wanna
I
say
mean,
it,
that's because
but,
I think that's what he's gonna say with every movie from here on in.
cause
I
it
think it's what he
could
said with The
be,
Irishman. I think it's what
like
he's saying here. Um,
it's
I think
like
it's just,
on one like, I want Marty to make as many movies as he can before he goes, and then you have a guy like Tarantino that's like, "No, I will cut myself off at 10 because I said so."
pussy.
Okay, no one said that you had to do that at all in any
No, he
it's
thinks, and I get it. I get the idea, the commodification of your art. If you make less of it, the more valuable each one is. I think we've seen plenty of examples to indicate that that's like the exact opposite of the case. Um,
yeah, like, if you only make bangers and you make 500, but they're all bangers. That is much better than 10 all bangers. You know, it's harder to do, sure, but I don't know. It's anyway. Tarantino's not on here. He didn't even have a movie. I don't. I guess he will at some point, and then that will be the last one forever. Um,
Yeah. No,
for whatever reason.
but this was Marty's 26th
And he's gonna
or
try to
something like
keep
that.
going. He's gonna
Maybe the 27th.
please, Marty,
And
keep
it's just
going.
like still at the top of his fucking game, man. We're looking at like one of the greatest to ever do it, if not the greatest to ever do it, and it's remiss.
Wow.
I'm remiss to not give him his props and his flowers, because Killers of the Flower Moon was it's a special fucking movie, man, and it was the last one I revisited before coming into this. The last rewatch I did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this was even a month ago or so. Um,
Just another devastating one, man. It's
God damn, is it good? It is so fucking good.
I
Um,
like me that money, sir. Man,
I do like that money, sir.
there it is. I knew I got the verbiage
I
wrong
do.
when it
I
came.
do like my money, sir. I like women. I like black women, brown women, white women, fat women. We're gonna need to keep an eye on you. Like that whole thing. I love that shit. It's so
Ugh.
good. Bob De Niro is fantastic. Leo is wonderful, and Lily Gladstone being the shining beacon of light that comes through in that movie is the biggest pleasure of all. If she wasn't, we could be talking about a very different movie and a very different reception of that movie. So I'm glad that
Yeah.
I'm glad that they ended up doing what was right by the character and person, Molly Burkhart,
Yeah.
for the most part.
And story,
Um,
just kind of the movie. It's kind of bigger than the movie as well. It's like
mm,
they kind of needed Lily Gladstone to be the center of everything.
yeah,
Like that's kind of
yeah, they
necessary.
absolutely did. And
But yeah.
and on rewatch, it was illuminating just how much she is. She feels like it the first time you're watching, but I saw the the screen time percentage thing is always interesting. She's
Hmm.
in like 51 minutes of the movie
Wow.
in a 210
Mm-hmm.
minute movie. So it's always like everyone's that's not nearly enough to be a lead actress nominee. Bro, 51 minutes is more than pretty much every other lead actress nominee.
Mm-hmm. And if
It's
anything,
just in a
it's
3.5 hour movie.
more impressive that she's not on the screen for longer and has the
Yeah,
performance she does. And like
exactly. And
so
even when she's not on screen, people don't take into account that's the weight over everybody's head all the time. Just because she's not literally on the screen doesn't mean that her performance
mhm.
character hasn't been so impactful that she's not all you're fucking thinking about basically when you're watching that movie.
Yeah, for a
It's
long part of the movie she's sick and in bed and can't move and she is there for the whole
Mhm.
time. So like yeah.
I mean, shit, in that sequence whenever she sees the owl and
Mm,
then she sees Leo, and then after that, a little later, you see De Niro on her at her bedside, and I just fucking brilliant. Brilliant film, man. So, had to give Killers of the Flower Moon a nod. Um, what else we got here? May December, another
mhm.
one of our inserts versus the Academy.
Yeah.
Another one where the Academy is probably not going to give this its due. Todd Haynes was probably, aside from Yorgos Lanthimos, our biggest snub in director.
Mm,
Um,
mhm.
for me personally, I think he's a fantastic director, and what he managed to do with May December is nothing short of beautiful. I found it to be the most affecting movie of the entire year. Like,
Mm.
just deeply uncomfortable
Yeah. No,
and
I
sad because of it.
I tried to
Uh,
recommend this to someone else and then I realized when you have to start describing the movie to someone like, "Oh, well, what's it about?" It's like, "Oh, well, so
yeah,
there's this
yeah.
lady, and she took a liking to, I don't know, seventh grader. She was, I'm not sure, let's say like 30 something at the time. We don't have to really get into the details. But yeah, I don't it was just very awkward to kind of even describe. But then I
No, yeah,
kind of
that's
ultimately want to be like, just watch this movie. Like, know nothing going into it. Just go. And
that's my thing too, is that, it was funny talking to you when you started watching the movie because I did know what the movie was when I was getting into it.
I read it
So,
so
I knew
wrong.
for a fact
Yeah.
Julianne Moore, her character, had groomed Charles Melton's
Mhm.
character from a very young age,
It's
and
zero
that he
clue.
was, um so, that's why, in my opinion, it might be important to know what you're getting
Oh,
into,
okay,
so
yeah.
that you are capable of reading the scenarios, 'cause it does carry this intense there's always something looming that you don't know what it is if you don't
Mm.
know what the movie's about
That's why I was
unless you can
so
clock the fact
freaked
that Charles
out.
Melton is
That's
clearly 20 years younger than Julianne Moore,
yeah,
and they
it
have 18-year-old kids.
that didn't quite register. I'm like, "Eh, whatever." I thought maybe it's just for, like, the movie. Like, it's just
Yeah,
that guy,
yeah.
maybe he just looks really good for his age. I don't
Yeah, maybe
know,
maybe
or,
he's
like
just maybe he was
like,
just the actor that they
okay,
wanted.
and I'm like, "Man, what is going on?" And then, like, I think I text you that, like, "This dude has to be, like, a serial killer. He's giving me the worst vibes. Why is he so boring?" I'm like, "What? Why he's too simple." I'm like, "There has to be something more with this kid." And then you
And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, there
yes,
is
there is.
something more,
Uh-huh, yeah, and then I
but,
got that knowledge,
he's
and
perfectly
yes,
innocent."
it completely changed the movie, that is for sure, so maybe knowing that little detail
Could
before you
help a
go
little
in,
bit.
maybe, yeah, a
Um
little helpful.
Yeah,
Um
no, because that was one of the things, I mean, and I was so fucking pissed I didn't get a chance to watch this in theaters because it is such a visually brilliant movie too. Todd Haynes has such a keen visual sensibility, and, like, I loved the movie Carol from 2015 with Rooney Mara and Kate Blanchett. If you haven't watched that, strongly recommend. If you liked May
mm,
December, you'll like Carol, but,
mhm,
it's, a devastating film that ends up culminating in something hopeful, and you're in a new spot, and it's a new start, and it's fresh, and it's good. It ends up being good. It's
hmm,
bad for a while, but it ends up being good. um
mhm.
so I love that shit.
A
May December.
strange one. A strange one, but definitely undeniably good, that's for sure. It
Yeah,
is
yeah.
without a doubt good.
Extremely melodramatic. I love the music. I love the score. um I like soap opera,
Mhm.
you know,
Mm,
that sort of shit.
yeah. No, it was very like, eye-opening, like, into Hollywood as well. Maybe why they're not,
Why
so
they don't love
keen
it.
on talking about it.
It's probably
Mhm.
why they didn't love Nope either, you
Yeah.
know?
Oh, yeah. Mm. Eesh. Yeah.
There are certain categories you gotta give it its due. You gotta go, "Okay, well, it did do this, but we're not gonna recognize you for anything else," you know? Like, and that it's if there's a movie it's critical of Hollywood, then it's probably gonna be a little snubbed, but regardless, I love May December. I thought it was a fantastic movie.
Mhm.
Um, our next nod is Oppenheimer. Um, that's Nolan. I talked about it a little bit ago with the Nolan nom.
Yeah.
That's his masterpiece, man. I think that,
Yes.
uh, it
Looking
is
for a
my
magnum
favorite
opus.
Nolan movie.
Yeah.
Um, there
Hmm.
are a couple others that I know generally will give it a run for its money with The Dark Knight and Interstellar, and I mean, some would say Inception, but, I love those movies. None of them come close. Not
Mhm.
for me. I think Oppenheimer is just so head and shoulders above everything he's ever done, and it actually actively enhances everything he's ever done. And to recontextualize your career like that with such a fantastic, seemingly impersonal movie,
Mhm.
but making it to the point where you're the only one who could have made it. Like
Yeah.
that's
No, it's
incredible,
my favorite movie of all time is Interstellar. It has
Mhm.
been for some time. Nolan's been my guy. I he has my favorite comic book movie of all time before one came out recently. So the dude he's been on my radar and I've loved
Yeah.
him. That's for sure. And whenever he dropped this, it got me to question. I'm like, "Oh fuck." I'm like, hello, enter a new movie into possibly the my favorite movies of all time. And I don't know. It is they're both number 1 for me. So, like, I don't know what to I have the history with Interstellar, and I have one watch with Oppenheimer. I have still only seen it one time. I've sat down and watched like 30 or 45 minutes, but
Mhm.
I've only had one complete watch. And
Yeah.
that alone kind of tells me that maybe it's already there. Like
Might
maybe it actually has pushed it there. I'd
there's
say
there's a certain emotionality to Interstellar that you're probably not gonna get out of
and
Oppenheimer.
that's why like my favorite movie of all time will probably remain Interstellar just because it's much more just my personality and everything. But as far as like like how well the movie was made or like his like it is Chris Nolan's best work that he has ever done. I don't think
It's one of
that's without a
I
doubt.
I
Like,
would this is rare, it reminds me of I said it recontextualizes everything that came before it, in his filmography a little bit. It reminded me of The Fabelmans for that reason, Steven Spielberg, except that
mm,
one was just, like, basically autobiographical. The Fabelmans are basically the Spielbergs, and the
hmm,
main character is basically young Steven. So
I
it's a
see.
different level to be sure, but, it does the same thing for Spielberg's filmography that Oppenheimer did for Nolan's for me. And I would not hesitate to call it one of the greatest films ever, and that's
Yeah,
fucking crazy.
and we lived through
Uh,
that, and we got to watch it in theater,
we got
70
70
millimeter.
we got a 70 millimeter screening together. I went and saw it in IMAX with Emily, and I've watched it at home since then. So I've gotten 3 viewings in, and those theater experiences special, just, otherworldly in terms of just I mean, that piercing scream during that scene just
Ooh,
fucking
yeah.
chills every time. Fucking love it. Um, it's harrowing. It doesn't feel it's crazy because in comparison to some of the other movies on this list, like Zone of Interest, um, this doesn't seem as hopeless and awful, but it doesn't end on a hopeful note. It ends on a harrowing
Yeah.
we're barreling towards the end of the world thing.
Mhm.
And
I believe we did. Is it I believe we did? I think we did.
I believe we did.
I
I
believe
believe.
I believe we did.
You remember
Yes.
when I came to you with those calculations.
Yes, I remember them. I remember them. He's,
What of it?
yeah, what are you talking about? Why bring it up now, dude?
What do you mean? Uh, I believe we did.
Oh,
Uh, dude, the raindrops, the fucking just
question.
yeah.
How do they get the shot of the bombs going off over the whole Earth? Is that a miniature? Is that what is that? Of when they pull back in space and it's showing the Earth. If zero CGI shots are in the movie, how do Earth explode?
I'm not sure how they did it. Not sure how they did it, but
If that's a
probably some
miniature,
sort of tenet.
that's
Probably some
insane.
sort of tenet situation.
Um,
They probably just went ahead and filmed the Earth exploding eventually from space, and then just inverted it,
that's
sent
right.
it back.
Everything Chris Nolan has captured in camera has been just that captured in camera.
It
So
happened.
yeah,
What
it
happened happened.
that's right. Now that he has made Tenet, it is clear that he can make whatever movie he wants now.
Exactly.
Anything is possible. So
Um,
yeah, CGI
but
is not even the limit anymore. But
nope, we're talking time travel now, baby. But the last few past lives, um, easily top 3 this year for me. Top 2, top 1. Um,
mhm.
it's it's brilliant. I love it so dearly. It was my New Year's movie with Emily. We always do a tradition
Ooh,
every year where we have instead of going to a party or anything, not exactly our scene, we watch a movie and we time a part of the movie with the midnight countdown. It's usually towards the end, so we don't have to stay up super fucking late to watch the movie. We timed it with the last cut when he goes, "Hey," at the car, and it cuts back to them being kids. That was our midnight,
oh
and then it cuts
wow,
back, and they're back in the present. Like
that's cool.
that was our midnight cut.
That's
So
cool.
this is the only movie so far in 2024 I've watched twice. I watched most of it in 2023, but I logged it in 2024 since it was the first movie of
Mhm.
2024.
Mhm.
And I caught it in theaters uh, last 2 weeks ago at the time of this release. Um, I, j- I fucking adore it.
Yeah.
It's everything I want a romance movie to be. It's painful. It's yearning. It's
A shocker for me.
Mhm.
I'm usually not one. I don't know one for the romance movies. I don't know why. It's like I'm not like I don't hate romance. In fact, I very much welcome it.
I
But
invite it. Yeah.
um I don't know. It's just a movie genre that I've
Oh,
never really gone down into. And right now, it
oh.
is above. It is at the very, very top of my list of my letterbox list. It is beaten Oppenheimer right now. That's the only one that I have given pause, to
Mm.
for me.
Yeah, no, and
But
that's the
yeah,
thing is
it's
that there's
crazy. So.
whenever my relationship to Oppenheimer is specifically interesting because there are movies from this year that I enjoy watching more than it, but I
Mhm.
don't know that there's a single movie I would claim be better.
I see.
Um,
Yeah.
but I do claim to like Past Lives more. I would happily watch Past Lives again before watching Oppenheimer.
Much,
Um,
much more enjoyable of a rewatch. That's for
I
sure.
think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
shorter.
But,
Just the runtime of a
the
factor
runtime
in
effects
there.
for Oppenheimer are
Um,
casual viewing for sure. Same
mhm.
with Killers of the Flower Moon. Like those movies are high, but there are certain movies that are like an hour and 45 minutes that I'm like, I'm gonna watch that. I'm gonna definitely
Mhm.
watch that. Instead of
Yeah.
two of that, um, which no complaints necessarily. I love a long
Mm-mm.
fucking movie. Just casual viewings, not the ideal situation. I want to be able to comfortably start a movie and know I'll be able to finish it. And
Yeah.
if I can't do that, I'm not going to start the
Kinda
movie.
has to be a whole event. You kinda have to
Yeah.
plan to watch
So if I'm
Oppenheimer.
starting, if I'm laying in bed at night, Emily's gone to sleep. I'm like, what am I going to throw on? It's 11 o'clock. I'm not planning for the movie that ends at 2 or 2:30. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I mean, some nights I will, some nights I will, but like that's not an every night thing to be sure. Um, but yeah, man. Last couple, Poor Things. I know you haven't seen it, but it's the one you trusted me with here.
Mhm.
Um, it's another one that I would gladly revisit before Oppenheimer. This is genuinely top three for me. I know I was facetiously
Mm.
saying top three about Past Lives and kind of worked my way up, but
Mhm.
genuinely top three. Poor Things. I I adored this movie. This is one of the only movies. It was this, American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, and Zone of Interest. Those are the ones that, oh, and The Holdovers. I watched those once. Everything else I think I've watched multiple times.
Okay.
Except, oh, nope, May, December. Six of them. Um,
A lot of,
but
yeah, movies you don't realize you watch or rewatches that you
mhm,
don't realize until,
yeah.
um, you really
No, and
think
like
about it.
this one stands head and shoulders above the rest for me in terms of my one-time viewings. It's
Mm.
just
Okay.
one of my favorite theater experiences I've had too, where I was nervous because it was a little full of a theater, a little fuller, and um, people were talking through the Nicole Kidman. You know, not me. I don't talk through Nicole Kidman.
Oh, the
I don't talk through. We come to this place for
yeah,
magic.
okay. I was like, "Wait,
That's my
she's in this."
ritual.
I was like, "Wait, is she in
We
this
come to
movie?"
this place for magic.
Mhm.
We come to AMC theaters to love, to laugh, to cry, because we need that. All of us.
When those lights dim, man, why
And we
don't they
go to a
dim the
place
fucking
we've
lights
never been
right
before.
then and there? Come on,
They
AMC.
should. They should.
Get your shit together. It's probably because they have a
Not
person
just
that does.
entertained, but somehow reborn together. Dazzling images on a huge silver screen. Sound that I can feel. Somehow, heartbreak feels good in a place like this, and stories feel real and powerful because here they are.
Wow.
AMC theaters. We make movies better. You
I
got to pay me.
I'd say you've seen your fair share of movies at AMC theaters.
I have.
If I
I
had to
have.
take a
Shout out to
wild
A-list,
guess,
baby.
yeah, yeah, it's we'll be locking that in for Dune Part 2. Let's fucking
Yo.
go.
We
I
actually, as of the release, we're seeing it today. Um,
Hype. Let's go.
as of
One.
the release of this episode, we're watching Dune 2 right now.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. There we go. I loved it.
Yeah, I'm into Dune 2.
Um,
Dune 2 chicks at the same time.
wow, I've not heard that one yet before.
No, no, it's a Office Space
That is
reference. Uh,
incredible.
no,
Dune
yeah, there's
2.
a lot of yeah, I'm into Dune 2. Dune to others as I would have them dune unto me.
Okay. Wow. Maybe these memes are incredible. Maybe this is the greatest movie of all time. I don't
Might
know.
be.
Shit. But I sure as shit felt that way whenever I was at the theater right now. So
It's impeccable. The car outside the window, the the sun is reflecting perfectly
don't you love
right
that?
at
Don't you love
it's
that?
impeccable, so, and I can't escape it, so I'm just gonna have to tough it out. Um,
It's not
but,
bad lighting. If any, I don't know. It's
no,
maybe
no, I like it.
it's just
I dig
maybe
it.
annoying
I dig
for
it.
your own sake, but
Yeah, I
um
can see it.
mhm.
I'm gonna have a spot permanently in my vision over here.
Yeah.
But anywho, Poor Things, my showing where they talk through Nicole Kidman, I was nervous. I was like, "Not for me. You don't talk through Nicole Kidman. Don't do that."
Mhm.
The movie starts in, like, silence, flashing through, like, the production companies and the opening credits and stuff. Not a fucking peep. And I was like, "These are my people. These are my people."
Mhm.
Movie stood up, I almost clapped at them, you know? I was like, "Thank you."
Yes, not the clap at the end of the movie, no. The clap at the
No, the
audience.
clap at the
Thank you.
audience.
Thank you
Thank
so
you for
much.
being a respectful movie viewer.
Mm,
Um, but, yeah, Poor Things, impeccable theater experience, and just a gorgeous movie visually. Um, but I believe that brings us to the last nominee, one we've
mhm.
talked about quite a bit so far, The Zone of Interest.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah, man. I
Oof.
yeah.
It didn't really occur to me even that high-ranking officials would live there, Like that
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
yeah, there was someone that did live there. Kids lived there. A family grew up there, and I don't know. Those kids know nothing else. You know? Those kids know nothing else. That is normal. That is normal. If they
There's
went
a part in the movie whenever one of those kids looks out their window and, like, they hear the horrors, and you could tell it's kinda like the kid's kinda like, and he says do you remember what he says?
Mhm. Go drown him in the lake over there or drown him in the
Well,
something.
that's what they're saying
Yeah.
outside.
Oh, okay, what the kid
But
says.
the
Mm.
kid says, "Don't do that again. Don't do that again. Don't do that again." And I don't know if he's talking about them doing whatever it is that caused them to do that, or if he's talking about him going, "Well, don't look out there again. Don't do that again. Don't do that again."
Oh.
Um,
Oh,
and
I
it's
didn't
just like there's so many moments like that where eh, there's this fascinating indifference that they have that I saw someone on Twitter claim that there's a certain level to it where it almost seems like the Nazis, uh, Hess, I believe, is the top one.
Mhm.
Hess, the guy in this movie, like almost doesn't know what he's doing, doesn't know the depth of pain he's causing certain people because they've dehumanized
Mm.
the the Jewish people in such a way that it's not even hurting people to him. That's why they were like, I don't know, but they weren't saying it like that. They were like, I don't know, he puts his kids in rooms with windows that can oversee it. It seems like he can't possibly no, he does know, and he doesn't fucking care.
Yeah.
That's what's disturbing about it. You're so close. You're almost there. Get there.
E
It's the fact that he knows full well what they're doing, and it doesn't matter to him.
They're numbers. It is
Mhm.
percentages. They were taking 25% for work, 20%
The
for
fucking
experiments, and then the rest will
when they
come
are
to
at that,
you.
like, dinner party and they're trying to figure out what's the most
Oh.
efficient way we can do this. Oh my fucking god. Like, there's just everything about it is so harrowing and so disgusting and so disturbing that there comes there that point early on in the movie whenever you st it starts on that black screen and you just hear, it's just noise, you know? And then you're like, "Oh, got it." You know? You're like, "I see. This is bad. This is really
Mhm.
fucking bad." Um,
Mhm.
the fact that they plant flowers in abundance to quell the smell of death, and they fill their house with people and kids and music and noise so they can't hear what's happening next door, and
Mhm.
they is that when the mom comes and is like, "Is that the wall?"
Yeah.
Like, that's the wall,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Yeah, we plan on growing vines on it," so I can't remember that that's that wall, like,
Mhm.
it's just the
It's
complete indifference
mm,
and hate,
mm.
and, it's one
It's
of the most disturbing movies I've ever watched in my life.
and the thing is, this was not even that long ago. Like, this
Less than 100
happened.
years ago.
This is real. This is not an over exaggeration to highlight some thing. No, this is, if anything, kind of an under, or like, if anything, they're not really showing the full um
Mm.
breadth of what's going. Yeah, I don't know. It's
No, I mean,
insane.
they're
It is.
clearly not. You never see any of it happen, and that's part of what's genius about the movie, is kind of just being like, watch how normal their lives are. Watch how everyday existence is so typical to them. There's nothing of note.
Hmm.
The mom leaves, the grandma leaves, and they don't really understand why,
Yeah, they're like, oh, is this?
They're
Yeah,
like, "Oh,
okay.
why'd you take off like that?" You know?
She was
Like
going
that
insane. By like every night, whenever you see a little light in the distance, and then, oh, you hung your clothes up to dry. Great idea. Go out and get them while ashes of how I don't know how many people are being
when
spread
they're
all over the
swimming in the
like.
river
Yep. Hmm.
and he's like, "Oh, yeah, can't swim in this river."
Oops, kids, get out. Now we have to scrub our bodies completely. You'll be all right. You'll live.
Well,
Don't
in
worry
the
about it.
recognition of the horror, like, that's the only time he ever recognizes how horrible something is, and it's not because of this, it's because of what it means for them, And it's just like that dissonance where you can go, "Oh, this would be scarring," or "This is gonna be disgusting," or "This could be damaging." How about the fucking people you're murdering, Like,
Dude,
what about them?
I
It's insane.
I didn't
Um,
quite get the end, you know? And
love the
when
end.
you
The end is
told
the best
me,
part of
just it's just him, it's just his inner soul just corrupt. He's
rotting.
just that corrupt. He's that fucked that that's what's coming out. And I love that. Like
It manifests
oh,
an illness that he pushes through. He just keeps going. When he looks like I'm getting chills talking about it. When he looks down the hall and it flashes to the Holocaust Museum, I'm assuming at Auschwitz since that's the part he oversees, um, the Auschwitz Memorial, um, and they show them cleaning it and scrubbing it down and all the pictures on the walls and all the shoes piled up, and it's just a fraction, and when they get done and it smash cuts back to him looking straight down that hall, I don't know if you can fucking see it, like, I'm chilled up right
yeah,
now.
like,
Um,
oh my god, like that. Those rooms are like like it's so like it's not even funny how small of a fraction that is compared to everything else. And like,
and that's what's there are a few movies, and some of my favorite movies of all time, like, one of my favorite movies that does this is, Line, a French film from the
mm-hmm,
'90s. I believe I've
mm-hmm,
mentioned it before, but
I remember.
the movies that when they smash to black and the credits pop up where I go, like, just kinda like, "Oh, fuck,"
Holy
just
shit!
exhale and
Yes.
like, "Oh my fucking god," like, That's what this movie was, and it's intensely special for that reason. It's intensely important. Uh, it's excruciatingly relevant, and in a way that it shouldn't be. I love that the creators of this movie and those who worked on it have been incredibly vocal about their support for or their anti um,
Mm,
Zionist sensibilities, their wish for a ceasefire and their um, freedom for Palestine, sort of the way that they've been vocal about it. It's very very cool to see, and especially given the subject matter of
yeah.
genocide and indifference to genocide
Mhm.
and existing while it's happening, and how you can just ignore it and kind of go, well, that's over there. It's on the other side of the wall. I don't need to look at that. Um,
Mm-mm. Yeah.
Disturbing, man. It's sad as fuck. And the zone of interest. If I have no desire to watch it again anytime soon. But
Mm-mm.
it is one of the best movies of the year, undoubtedly. Um,
Yeah. And I don't know how much the subject matter just boosts it. It's weird to say that it boosts it, but like it's so horrific, and the story of it itself is just it just kind of puts it on this other tier already. If you're going to
Mhm.
kind of make something like this, but it is either
If
going to
you're
be
and like
good
if you
or
do it, you got to do it good.
yeah, it cannot be like bad. I don't like it. It's kind of very a big risk to make a movie like this, and they just knocked it out of the park.
Nailed it,
Um,
man. Yeah, one of the best movies of the year, undoubtedly. One of the eight. I gave 8 movies 5-star ratings in 2023.
mm,
So more than others would give, but I try to. My gut takes me to 5 stars pretty easy. So
yeah.
going like, you know what? Maybe I'll give that a 4.5. Is often hard for me. But I tried a little harder, and it ended up being 8. So
Mm,
it's one of the 8 movies I gave 5 stars in 2023. But
okay.
that leaves us with declaring our Best Picture winner of 2023, and the winner is Oppenheimer. Come on
Yeah.
now.
I mean, it's just it is.
I don't think we did a good job of hiding that when we talked about it a second ago
No, we
either.
were glazing it up quite a bit, and
Mm,
it was almost it was very hard not to just be like, all right, well, it's obviously just the winner. Like we're like whenever we were talking about it then, um, but yeah, it just kind of the moment that it was, even before the movie came out, it kind of already seemed that it was going to be like the movie of the year. Um, just the double release, and it just all the hype, and then actually delivering on that promise from Nolan to be like, yeah, here you go. I'm getting better as I go on. Whatever this man makes next, I don't know. I just
Heated as fuck, I'll tell you
I
that.
want.
Tell you that.
Yeah, and so, but no, I think this was maybe not a clear winner, but yeah,
Crazy that
I don't.
without Twilight, we never get Oppenheimer.
How?
Glad you asked. That launched Robert Pattinson to stardom,
Uh-huh.
and Robert Pattinson eventually grows to the point where he can be in Tenet, and at the Tenet release party, he gave Nolan of, a book of
Oh
Oppenheimer speeches,
my
which inspired him
god.
to make this movie.
Oh my god. That it yes, it does come from Robert Pattinson. And holy shit.
Twilight, baby.
If truly the the direct reason for
Mhm.
Oppenheimer.
At
I
least
mean,
one of them.
I can't find any more
Whatever
of a
caused
direct.
Twilight to
Yeah.
come into existence, we could trace this back. We
I
could
guess
keep
true.
going.
We need
You
to
know,
keep yeah,
like,
we need to find the original cause for
I mean,
Oppenheimer.
the original cause is J. Robert Oppenheimer existing. So if we could find
What
we could find the
inspired
train
him? What inspired Robert Oppenheimer to live
there.
in the first no, okay. Now we're going a little too far, but um there we are, Oppenheimer claiming what is it, 3 out of the 10?
Yes,
Or
3
out
out
of
of
the
the 10
8. Is it
awards.
10 or 8? Yeah, it's 10.
Uh,
Um,
we gave 10 awards. It won Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor, and Best Director. Um, Not Best Director, Best Picture. My
mhm.
apologies. Um, but th- every single category it was nominated for, you could make an extremely sound argument to me that it deserved to win.
Yeah.
And like that's a special movie. So just felt like a no-brainer. I mean, like again, I would not hesitate to call it one of the greatest films of all time. It was the only movie I said that about when we broke it down a second ago. So, I
Mhm.
mean, just is,
It
man.
is
It's so fucking
crazy that it
good.
is up there in that talk. It's crazy that we just got one of those, And I don't know. That's like we got a Godfather, we got a Star Wars, we got another one of those. We got like and and this is going to be a people. I don't know. Maybe this is our kind of Godfather. We'll tell our kids like,
World will remember this day.
"Mm, yeah, we will. I will tell my kids, yes, I saw Oppenheimer in theaters. I saw the bomb go off and I survived it. You little. No, no, I
You
won't be.
little
Yeah, like you
rapscallion.
don't. I didn't go through anything. I watched a
You
movie.
little
Yeah,
fucking Ed Teller. I ought to you little fucking Louis Strauss.
yeah.
Uh,
Uh,
what are you, David Dostmulchian
uh,
in this movie? I can't remember his character's name. You little fucking Boris Pash. The fact that I can remember like
I can't do that,
these
but
names
yeah.
in such a giant fucking cast with giant names and all like
Hmm.
it sticks with you, man. It's just one of those movies. It's got me out here making Boris Pash references.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
I watched
incredible.
Tenet the other day, or I started Tenet the other day. It was one of those nights where I decided to start a 2.5 hour movie late, and I paid the price. Um,
Yep,
But
happens.
the dude who John David Washington goes, like at the very beginning, he goes, "We live in a twilight world," and the guy kind of like looks at him and he's like, "We live in it," and then there are no
Hmm.
friends at dusk. That first guy, Chevalier in Oppenheimer. He's just one of he's also in Oppenheimer. So like
Hmm. Okay,
he's a part of the Christopher Nolan canon. You know,
let's go.
that's fucking
Yeah,
rocks. You know, so
gotta.
this movie has recontextualized and redefined some of my movie watching, and I appreciate that.
Okay, so if we are doing
All I have is a word
a
interject.
temporal pincer movement, so Oppenheimer drops the bomb actually for real in real life. What was it?
45,
45. Oppenheimer comes out 2023.
48 years, or
So
not 48, much more than that. Sorry.
so
Um,
I guess no, that would be the middle of them.
78.
I guess it'd be the middle of them. That would be, but maybe this is the middle point right here. The Oppenheimer. I don't. I'm going down a rabbit hole of trying to predict the next war. So forgive me, but that's where I was going. Is maybe we're under a massive temporal pincer movement, and Nolan's trying to give us the heads up through his movies. And we need to combine all of them. We need the spaceships from Interstellar. We need to go. We need the dream inception in order to. I don't know. Now I'm going way too far. I'm thinking Nolan's making an MCU type continuity whenever he's definitely not. He's just making movies. That's for sure. For sure.
No, that's
But
for sure.
the man
But
dominated. Yeah, the man dominated the awards, and you're right. You could give an argument for every category pretty much for him. So
dude, it's just the best picture. So, with that, we will conclude our 2023 Penny Bloom Film Awards, and hopefully you'll be hearing from us next year for the 2024 Penny Bloom Film
hmm,
Awards. Maybe the new tradition will be the Monday before the Oscars. We
yes,
go ahead and put up our own little award ceremony. So one more time for the folks, here are all our winners in our 10 categories. Best score, Michael Levy, The Zone of Interest. Best cinematography, Robert Yeoman, Asteroid City. Best Supporting Actress, Divine Joy Randolph in The Holdovers and Penelope Cruz in Ferrari. Best Supporting Actor, Robert Downey Jr. in Oppenheimer. Best Adapted Screenplay, American Fiction by Cord Jefferson. Best Original Screenplay, Past Lives by Celine Song. Best Actress, Lily Gladstone in Killers of the Flower Moon. Best Actor, Cillian Murphy in Oppenheimer. Best Director, Martin Scorsese, Killers of the Flower Moon. And Best Picture, Oppenheimer. And with that,
Boom.
we will conclude this episode of the Penny Bloom Podcast. If you would, head to patreon.com/pennybloom pod, where you find over 50 hours of exclusive content, including all sorts of book reviews, comic book reviews, movie reviews, and the like. I believe that later this week, we will have a review, likely over on Patreon, of Dune 2. I'm
Mm.
assuming we're going to make that happen after we go and see Dune 2. It only makes sense to me. But in the meantime, in the coming days, we begin our Dev Patel Director's Spotlight. Wednesday brings us
Mm.
The Last Airbender. So certainly not an award winner there. But we will be talking M. Night Shyamalan's The Last Airbender as the beginning mark of our first actor spotlight for Dev Patel. And I'm so very excited about that. We continue our coverage of The Bad Batch this Friday with season 3, episode 5. And then next Monday, we will be picking up where we left off with Game of Thrones, which is the season 8 premiere. We are on to the last season, baby, and it starts next week. I'm so very excited about it. And we'll be continuing our coverage of The Bad Batch. We'll be continuing our Dev Patel spotlight. And we're going to be doing that all the way through the release of Monkey Man, which we'll be covering April 10th. So a lot of good stuff coming your way. A lot of great stuff on the Penny Bloom Pod. Make sure you keep up with us on Twitter at Penny Bloom Pod, on Instagram at Penny Bloom Podcast, on TikTok at Penny Bloom Podcast, and on YouTube you can watch us now. I got a nice little setup. I got the past lives record
Mhm.
here. I got all the 2023 movies I own on display here. If you're watching, you'd know what I'm
Mm.
holding up at the camera right now. Okay.
Mm.
You're not watching, you get to miss out. Sorry.
Damn.
You could have, you should have, and you can. You still can. You can go look. It's on YouTube, Penny Bloom Podcast. All sorts of good stuff over there for you. So yeah. With that, I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very
Mm.
much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Oppenheimer.